All right, we're coming to you live on a Tuesday morning, 1620 The Zone. TV is up and running. The app, also on the website, on X, wherever you can find us. Good Tuesday morning. Gary and Matt here.
Good Tuesday morning.
Good Tuesday morning to you. And the king has arrived.
Good
Joey
morning.
Colbert is in a power chair this morning.
It was funny because I got in just a little bit quicker
than you did.
I just beat you by a couple of minutes, and I walked in and I go, Joey, let's go. So happy to see you. And then you walked in, you go, Joey, let's go.
The
and
king is here on a Tuesday morning.
I'm back refreshed from a long weekend.
I mean,
a long week.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't pass out.
Shout out to Jake for covering morning traffic yesterday because I needed that extra day off.
Well, that's good. You look refreshed. You look like a man that's got a mission. Hell of a haircut, great mustache. Not mustache guy today.
No, I did.
Wow.
I told you it was a one-day type deal.
I'm running a daycare here today. I got two guys that look like they're about 15 on the show today.
Okay.
I was going to clean up after hearing about this mustache talk.
Were you offended that I was stealing your bit?
I just wanted to see who was better.
No, God, no. There were two people who laughed at me at Target, and I was at Target, and I walked by them, and I heard them. They were both
talking. What he was doing at Target?
Yeah, I was shopping.
Who doesn't go to Target?
Yeah,
the whole goal is to go to Target and not spend any money. Never can happen.
I went. I got my produce. I got everything that I needed to eat, and then I always
bougie. Even though produce at Target.
Well, they got good shrimp there. The frozen shrimp there is actually a little bit better and higher quality.
Caught locally in the Platte.
I don't think it is.
You don't think so?
Nice I don't think that the
I've seen shrimp boats on the Platte, and I think they go straight to Target.
So
I could mistaken. It could be something fake on AI.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shrimp boats in the Platte. Anyway, I never buy them, but I love looking at the trading cards.
Yeah.
I just like to look at them with my eyes, I guess, for like a couple of minutes and see who's on the front and like what rookie cards you can get. And when I walked in the middle of a conversation and two people just stopped talking and I could feel them looking at me and I heard them kind of giggle and laugh a little bit. And then throughout the entirety of the day, everybody that I knew that I saw immediately made a comment about
you were shamed. You did not stand up to shame.
Yes. A million percent.
You said, I'm going to do group think. Well, I thought you would say, no, not today.
No,
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it as long as possible.
When I'm on TV or on a screen for 4.5 hours a day, I definitely do have to worry about the image and how do I look. And we were getting to the point where it just did not look good.
We're in radio. We're in radio for a reason. There's a reason why Jack is on Channel 7 in the morning and Gary's on 1620. It just is. I've accepted that reality. It's fine.
I haven't been hit in the face yet, but I have a face for radio, even though everybody often tells me that. But I don't think you can shame me for being shamed when you were the poster child of shaming me yesterday.
No, I just brought it up. It became a conversation piece. I didn't shame you into shaving it.
I don't think.
Did I?
You literally said I can't look at it. You told me that I had to shave it before 7 a.m.
I thought post 7 o'clock that you would be. You kept it, so I thought, okay.
I didn't want to use your rescue razor. I didn't want to go to your car and with no shaving cream raise off a very thick mustache. By the way,
I believe Tony upstairs, who's got a great set of facial hair. I bet he has the in case of breaking glass.
The goods.
Yep, he's got his own little shaving kit.
Well, no, I did it now, and now apparently I look too young.
Yeah.
Let's
grow the beard. Let's go back to growing the beard.
Yeah, I have a tough time managing the beard though, because then it gets itchy and it's like I don't have the beard oils for it, and then it gets caught in my pillowcase and whatnot, and it's just like, hey, you ever sleep? You're sleeping down.
Just be like me, just
kind of moving around. It gets itchy, man.
Grow as much as you can and then just shave it all out. I kind of have that's have a repetition.
That is wise advice.
I got a question for you, Joey. Does your neck beard not grow all the way around your face? It's just the patch down in the middle?
It's just the patch down the middle.
Okay. I thought you were selecting how you shaved your neck beard.
No, it's how it grows.
Okay.
It happens. Some people can grow facial hair, some can't. Some just the next day they've got a full, shadow. I wish I could be that person. I could grow a beard The longest I went was during COVID when we were doing shows from home. I didn't shave for like 7 weeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had a lot of salt and pepper in there. It looked okay. Man, it was something when I shaved it.
Would you grow a mustache with me? What if we both grew mustaches together?
No. No. I will support you in whatever endeavor you would like to go for the growing of a mustache.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say
Isn't
I'll support you
isn't that the
in
month of November?
Yeah, No Shave November.
Yeah.
Isn't it Movember, right? I don't think I'll probably
I like Rocktober better.
What's Rocktober?
That was when the Colorado Rockies were good and not getting beat 15-1 by Toronto at home. And they were in the World Series. Then you had Rocktober.
Hey,
those were back in the day.
We had that one comeback,
I don't
though.
think
on
you
Friday.
were born yet.
No, what year was it?
07.
I was born. Come on. You know what year I was born.
Connor the other day goes, "What is Matt, 20?" And I'm like, no, because he's got a college. He can't be 20.
Well, you know what? Maybe it'd be good for my brand if I was 20, because that means I graduated college in 2 years and people would think I'm really, really smart. We should just roll with that. I'm actually 19. I'm Jason Tatum.
Okay. All right. How's that Achilles?
Honestly, I think Jason Tatum could probably move faster than I can right now, even with the torn Achilles.
All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is a happy day for some of you. If this was a branded as a ticked off Tuesday, I bet I could do 4 hours on the Chicago Cubs, a baseball team for all of us Cub fans out there. It is not a happy day. I couldn't sleep last night. And this is in all honesty. If I was a smoker, I bet I would have smoked last night. I bet I would have hammered some grits, put them between my lips, and just sucked it away. But instead, I got a pitcher who apparently the Cubs do not have access to medical records. I got a guy who misses first base. Yeah. I've been watching baseball for a long time. I don't know. I've seen that very often. But Dansby Swanson last night with the tying run coming home just misses first base. I got hitters in a slump. I'm nervy. I know that there's a 5-game series with the Brewers coming up, but I'm very, very nervy.
Are you also, you failed to bring up the fact that the guy that everybody wants to pay $45 million a year is just not playing good baseball right now and has not played good baseball.
PCA, Tuck. He has kind of, in the field, he's still been good, but at the plate, he's a little Jason Hayward-ish. So you can fix hitting. You can go into a slump and you can fix hitting. Mm-hmm. You can't fix pitching. And they added a guy who was already injured before the Cubs acquired him in Soraka. He was, first of all, he's never thrown more than 100 innings since 2019. Internet must be down at Wrigley Field, okay? Because
no, they're going all in, Gary. They're going all in. What are you talking about?
The average Joe and Jane could Google to see this, and also Google that his fastball was about 95, and then in his last 3 starts, he barely touched 92. I don't know. That seems a little fishy to me, but why not acquire him and make him a starter and try and convince people that, hey, we have a replacement for Justin Steele? I might look dumb. I'm not dumb. Okay. But then here's what happened last night.
Yeah.
So I really was, I was distressed. And I know it's a long season, and I saw this against the Orioles. They ended up winning the series, but the bullpen imploded. And I mean, just things that are very Cub-like. You know, and I got one eye. I already knew that the Brewers had won, and I hate the Brewers because you're good.
Same.
Then I couldn't sleep.
I don't believe that. You couldn't sleep because he didn't touch first base?
No, the whole game. That was a game that you have to win. You can't lose games like that. When you're poor at the plate and you only give up 3 runs, you can't lose a game like that, okay? It's August, all right? It's go time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch baseball. What did I do? I got stuck on the Cardinal-Dodger game and had to watch Sonny Gray push last night. Even last night, that was a great pitching matchup. Cardinals ended up winning. Now, Sonny Gray had some fantasy implications for yours truly. Okay. Struck out 8. But then I'm watching the Cardinals win. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Just somebody just bring paper in, and I'm just going to cut myself.
Jeez.
So I'm a little bit nervy today. And if this was ticked off Tuesday, we could do 4 hours on the Cubs. But we're not going to do that. So good luck to everybody. You know what? The great thing about baseball is you get up the next morning, and you're only as good as your next day starting pitcher.
And
last night's starting pitcher is now on the IL.
I was about to say, is today's starting pitcher Colin Ray? Because If that's
he is the
case,
cut stopper.
It
is a show day.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's a show day.
I'm happy to hear it. Well, it depends on which show that you end up getting.
He's pitched pretty well. Pretty well of late. They usually win when he pitches.
Yeah, they were showing. They keep
33-11. I think
they were
his
showing.
career's a start. That's not his record, but when he starts, I think the Cubs are 33-11.
They were showing that graphic yesterday, toward the end of the game, that he has the most amount of wins since he started, amongst a bunch of really, really good pitchers. So I had to watch the Kansas City Royals game yesterday because when you don't own the MLB TV app, somebody else does, they get to pick, what you're watching.
Oh, from a distance?
Yeah. So I had to watch the Royals and Red Sox, and then I had Raw on the other TV.
What was the person from afar that you're stealing their account watching?
They were also watching. They had come over.
Okay.
They had come over for the day, and I was like, "Oh, we can, it's your account. You could pick what we watch." And they're like, "Well, I want to watch the Royals and the Red Sox," so I couldn't watch the Cubs. So we were watching that atrocity of a game.
Turn off Raw. Put the Royals. No, you don't have cable. That's right.
I don't have cable.
All right.
And we didn't have a third TV, and so I had to.
I'm proud that I still have cable.
More and more people are getting that super box. More and more, my dad has old friends who's now telling him about the super box that they have, and he asked me about the super box. He goes, "Should I buy this super box? Apparently you can get all the channels in the world." I go, "You own 8 different subscriptions to Paramount Plus and HBO Max and Netflix, and you have YouTube TV, and you have cable. Mm-hmm. You don't need a super box." So anyway, I just had to get that out there. But we were watching the Royals Red Sox. Atrocity. An absolute atrocity. That game.
8-5?
8-5.
Yeah, the Royals still can't run the bases.
Awful send. One of the worst sends that I've seen in quite a while in baseball.
Bring back Jersh.
It was disgusting. And then that game was over. And then we put on the Cubs game, and I got in after the Soraka.
Did you have a nice candlelight dinner? This was like a deep relationship here.
No, it's not. It's not. We're just switching between channels. We're hanging out. The guy's in town for the week. I haven't seen him in a while. So anyway, I was saying though, when Soraka got hurt, they go, Ben Brown will be the star, will come in and pitch. And I go, I thought we were done with this. I thought this guy was in AAA. I mean, every time I think Ben Brown is out of my life, the guy just pops back up on the mound.
He was okay. Their problem was for the first 5 innings, they went in order last night. But that's okay. They're 3 back, and it's a long season. They got 5 games upcoming against the Cheeseheads.
What happened with him not touching?
That's not your
first?
Baseball team, is it?
I don't have a particular baseball team.
All right, you were looking at me like, I'm a Brewers fan. Come over there. That's okay. I have great respect for the Brewers.
I love their ballpark.
Somehow they do it. All right, coming up on the show today, Sam McKewon will stop by. Brian Christopherson, Andy Kennedy. That's our usual Wednesday lineup, brought to you by the Roof Freeze at John Higgins Weather Guard. Media availability in Lincoln, week 2 of camp. It is the defensive guys that talk. John Butler will speak. Addison Williams, they call him Addy, will speak. So we will speak of, hey, Coach Butler, last year, thought you were going to win 7, chance to win 8. Now I think you're going to win 8, chance to win 9. Go ahead and speak on that. Also, I would hope somebody today ask about Williams Winery.
Oh.
Just how's his progress doing?
Sure. Needed. I'm as I keep doing the defensive line numbers, and I feel like every time I hop on the how the Dansby Swanson play is on the TV right now, and Gary is you are dejected there.
Well, it's just like okay. It's okay.
He gets paid $25 million a year.
Still have the top spot in the NL wild card. Okay. All right. Long season.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay.
Oh, it's gonna be okay. But you can't lose games that way. Okay. Continue on. Sorry. Just be ticked off Tuesday, be wall to wall. By the end of the show, we'd be done with the Ricketts. Put the Ricketts out of business.
The Ricketts are done in Chicago after the trade deadline. It was quite incredible. The just overwhelming reaction that everybody had when they didn't make any big moves. And there were so many people who wanted them to trade Owen Casey. It was ridiculous how much on Chicago Twitter and Chicago radio that people just absolutely despise prospects now. But back to the D-line. The more and more I look at the numbers, the more I get scared of the D-line and what they're going to be able to do this year, and the fact that they've lost.
Scared not this could be really, really good? Or
no, scared in like
the other way. Okay.
Scared in the other way. Like when you look at the numbers. Because I think from like the talent perspective, I don't think you should be scared at all. I think Keona Davis, Riley Van Poppel, Elijah Judy, and Cam Lenhart are all incredible talents. But just from a numbers perspective, you're like, man, they've lost over 24.5 sacks, and they've lost even more tackles for loss. And it's just like the amount of snaps that Hutmaker and Robinson were playing and the impact that they had, especially on the run game, you get worried to the point where it's like, yeah, I know that just because someone goes up to the podium and says, oh, this guy looks good, that it doesn't necessarily mean everything. But I would like that. I would like that to happen with the D line. Because I'm just really, you just look at this team and just from like a lack of production standpoint, it pops. It just pops how little consistently a lot of those guys are going to rely on played.
Isn't that the life cycle of football? I mean, you have an older guys and they move on, and you got to play some younger guys, and they've all played a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a worry. I don't think by the end of the year it'll still be a weakness. I think Riley Van Poppel will replace Ty Robinson. I think that's a 1-for-1.
I hope so. And he's got the body, and he showed the capability to do it. And every time we talk to Mike Schaefer on Fridays, I mean, there's oftentimes that he brings up the fact that it's just like, you don't really redshirt a guy like that. Like, you don't typically tell a guy no, even though you definitely can play and you definitely can make an impact for us, that no, you're not going to do that. But I think now, hindsight, you're happy that you have him for an extra year now, especially that Robinson and Hutmaker are gone. But I understand the life cycle argument. At the same time, though,
he's further ahead of where Ty was at the same point in his career.
Well, that is a good point. And I do think that you could probably make some comparisons between Hutmaker and Van Poppel compared to Robinson, or sorry. You can make comparisons to Lenhart and Van Poppel and Hutmaker to Robinson where they were in 2023 in terms of the fact that Nash and Ty both had played pretty decently, but they hadn't like produced those top numbers. They come in, Matt Rule comes in, and all of a sudden they look like legitimate threats. I don't think you can definitely say, oh, the same thing can happen with RVP and Lenhart, but it's just the strength of that defense last year, in my opinion, was the D line. And when the defense was playing its best, it was because the D line was playing at an incredibly high level. And so it's just when you just remove the two guys, even though it is the life cycle, even though it is how football works, that still creeps the crap out of me. And then on top of that, too,
you don't have to apologize for that.
I know.
I mean, that's a football knower.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the cycle of football life.
Now, you bring up a good point, though.
Would you feel differently if Terrence Knighton was still here?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would. Because I just like the continuity. And I like how much they loved him. I like how much they wanted to play for him. And there definitely is a bit of a transition period for that D-line room in terms of how Terry Braden is and how he approaches things and how, Terrence Knighton approaches things, because they approach him very differently just from a coaching and relationship standpoint in that D-line room. But you bring up another good point here. I am worried about the first 4 games more than anything. But eventually that cliche of like, oh, they're not a freshman anymore. Oh, they've played so much football, they're not inexperienced. Like, that will happen, especially with those top 4. So that's good. But I just like they gotta come out running, I think, to start this season with all the hype and all the momentum and all the hope that you have. I mean, in the most important game is the Cincinnati game. So
you mean it's not the Akron game because of the first home game?
No.
Everybody get to see everybody?
No.
Yeah, you don't see
people they haven't seen in a while?
No.
Yeah, you don't want to lose to Akron. You don't want to lose to Georgia Southern. The next thing you know, you wake up the next morning and
you don't have a coach.
You don't want to lose to Troy.
Joey choosing violence right away. You didn't even hesitate. You're like, man,
I mean, that's the last time.
Yeah. All right. You have the lineup from the Rooferees. John Higgins, Weather Guard. Sam's coming up in an hour. The coaches poll came out yesterday. Hey, nice popularity contest. But it does give us 1 versus 2 in the coaches poll. An epic showdown in Columbus between two teams that are breaking in first-year starters at quarterback, Texas and Ohio State. Only 5 times since 1980, boys.
Oh,
has somebody gone wire to wire.
Number 1 overall?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I did not know that.
Only 5 times. So Texas begins at number 1. The AP poll comes out next Monday. For the most part, coaches in AP, the first release are similar.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Ohio State will be 2 in the coaches poll or in the AP poll.
I don't think they
seem
will.
like they're kind of getting the benefit of the doubt. They are the Ohio State University, but they have quite a bit to replace on offense and defense. I don't think there'll be 2 in the AP poll, but I wonder if Texas will be 1 in the AP poll.
I think they will be, and I think Penn State will probably end up being 2. I think that Louisville is a team that I was kind of surprised that they were left off of the coaches poll. I think that's a team that will probably be left and put on the media poll.
I've already mentioned way too much about the coaches poll because Florida State got votes.
That's a good point.
Amazing.
Okay.
Nebraska got votes, though.
Yeah, but they had a better season than Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, what was Nebraska, 39th?
I think
probably going to be higher in the receiving votes of the AP poll.
They had 19 votes in terms of the receiving votes for the coaches poll. So I don't have it pulled up here. I can't fully find it. But I think that there definitely was a bit of a respect thing for sure when it came to this poll, because I think Michigan is they're a little too high there. And I would probably say Tennessee was pretty decently high up on that list.
It's the power of the Big Ten. If you're in the Big Ten, look at all the Big Ten teams that are ranked. Even go to receiving votes. It is the power of the Big Ten. It's good to be in the Big Ten.
Well, also
Big Ten, you get a little bump.
You
like a little Big Ten reach around bump?
That is not a thing. A reach around bump? What's a reach around bump?
That's what the Big Ten is getting.
It's either the reach around or it's a bump. I don't know how you combine those.
Both?
I don't even know how you would do both.
I'm sure there's you can probably chat GPT that or Grok.
Maybe OnlyFans it.
The coaches poll it's a popularity contest, beginning of the season. I mean, we spent way too much time on the poll already, but that's what we do because we're in a college football hotbed. So we're going to talk about teams that will go over their skis or their skis will fall off. We'll do that as we roll till 10. When we come back, a local radio guy made national news last night in a huge way.
I didn't know my mustache was that big of a deal.
Well, you'll have to stay with us to find out if it was the stash.
It's probably a stash or something.
A lot of people are not happy about you shaving off the mustache. I would
what?
assume.
Gave in to peer pressure.
What do you mean? What do you mean peer?
People thought you were going to stand up.
You can't shame me for shaving my mustache and succumbing to peer pressure when you were the number 1 peer pressure.
I'm not shaming you. I thought you would stand up and say no.
We can go back to the tape.
I'm proud of my decision making.
Yes. You know what? Now you wonder. Now you wonder about his takes on stuff. I was like, man, is Joe before the show is over? Is Joey going to turn you into a Packer fan?
Stop it.
You're like, no.
That's true.
I did tell Gary yesterday, Joey, that I do like your team after reading the preview.
I was like, are you okay?
He
almost took his temp.
He goes, really? That was a legitimate reaction. You go, really? You like him?
Because I like Matt's passion for hating the Packers.
No, I can't stand him. That doesn't mean that I really do like how the offensive line is forming. You just got to get a pass rush.
There's Matt the King is here. Joey Colbert, I'm Gary. It's Gary and Matt at 1620 The Zone. Got a guy that listens from Chicago that was at the Cubs-Reds game last night. He said, it was bleak on the red line. But it was. What a miserable thing. If you leave the ballpark after that and you have to get on the L.
I went to Miller Park on the Tuesday game last week, which was the game where they had 3 errors and played just awful baseball and couldn't get runs to score, even though they had dudes on third with 1 out. And then I had to take a shuttle back to a bar in Milwaukee with a bunch of Milwaukee Brewers fans. So I don't want to hear anybody complain about bad rides back from games, because I was one of like maybe 4 Cubs fans packed on this bus.
A radio guy made national news. A guy that I used to work with made big time national news last night. And I'm sure, let's see, we're not into the morning news shows nationally, are we? I am sure that he will be the lead on a lot of shows this morning. Former afternoon DJ at Froggy 98, Mike Flood, who left radio, got into politics, bought media, is now a congressman. And last night, have you guys seen any of the clips of his town hall in Lincoln?
I saw one clip about him talking about 28-year-olds.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Them freeloading off of the government.
So it was kind of crazy. People were not happy. I did not watch all of it because I think Nebraska Public Media carried the whole thing. I've just seen clips, and then I watched a little bit of extended time because I was like, I'm going to see if I know anybody that's there.
Oh, sure.
Like if anybody that I've ever interacted with or friends, they're like, you know what? Mike Flood is here. Representative is up there on stage. I'm just going to give it a go. One guy looked like the first realtor of my first house I bought in Lincoln. But he's aged a little bit. That was about 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
So it was just wild. But it got me to thinking, and this is going to be national news this morning. And I think a lot of people know Mike. He's involved in communications business. But whether you agree, disagree or not, the thing was crazy. But it got me to think, because he's done. I think they said this was his 3rd town hall.
Okay.
And he did it in person. He was
there for it.
I really want to know more about the guy that held the microphone, because he seemed to be really uncomfortable. Because people had a lot of passion, like a lot of passion in Lincoln. They have as much as passion as when they go to the Weird Al concert tonight at the Bowl.
There's a Weird Al concert tonight?
Weird Al is sold out
Wow.
at Pinewood Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Weird Al plays well in Lincoln.
I did not know he was in Lincoln.
I'm pretty sure somebody said, "Hey, are you doing anything Tuesday night? I got tickets." And I was like, "No, I've seen him before."
I want to backtrack here. The sentence "Weird Al plays well in Lincoln" is Weird Al.
The Bigger and Weirder tour is at Pinewood Bowl tonight.
When did Lincoln become a second home for Weird Al? And what about Weird Al is so, I don't know, attractive to the people in Lincoln?
I don't know. When you're in a college town, I think uniqueness sells. He's played there a couple times, and it's always like big. Not everybody sells out Pinewood Bowl, but Weird Al apparently has sold out Pinewood Bowl. So maybe Lincoln will be back-to-back days in national news. Crime Town is. But it got me to think as I was watching Representative Flood get booed, make comments, people just talking. What if? Why don't? And it would never see right there. You got on national news this morning.
Hell of a
you would never get to, I don't think, this level of angst, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't the athletic directors hold a town hall with their fan base or owners? Now, professional owners in some cities, it would be off the wall, and it would make what happened in Lincoln last night look like a recreational day.
Yeah.
But I would really love to have a public, and I know they do radio shows, Troy Dannon once a month goes on a radio show, but what if they had once a year, like the state of Nebraska or Creighton or Omaha Athletics, and the AD had a town hall?
See,
how great would that be?
It would be great. It would be nice. It'd be fun. And I think especially after, see, here's the problem with it though. Because
I don't see a problem.
if you do it once, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to keep doing it. Like you can't like really surrender.
Yeah. I mean, if you do one town hall, you do another, and then you do another. Yeah.
And so the problem I have is that I am really excited about a potential town hall when like if Nebraska football were to be bad, and just how funny that would be and how mad people would be, and some of the questions that, you know, the athletic directors and coaches would get as to why they're not winning football games. Like, I think we all agree, like having a big red overreaction essentially, but like Troy Dannon is answering the questions and not me would be incredibly entertaining. And so
just like, it would be entertaining because people, you know, like people,
be pissed
if
off.
you've ever been to one of these forums, like you go, Joey, you probably have spoken at the city council, right?
I have not.
Okay, just checking.
Does Joey look like a guy who's spoken at the city council before?
Hey, Joey is sneaky. So people look at Joey and they go,
something's up.
There's something up with that guy. I mean, he's a big brain thinker. That's why I call him the king and I keep him on my good side. Okay, Joey, you and I are never going to get crossways because I worry about you. But you go like to a city council, you go to one of these, you stand in line. You know, you've seen the Office episode when Dunder Mifflin is.
I have seen the Office episode.
Just think about this. Like you would go, I don't know if you do it at Memorial Stadium. Pinnacle Bank Arena, a large venue. Maybe it'd be just like Berkey weekend when Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger would be up on stage and people would be able to ask questions. Now, I don't know you'd want it to go like 6 to 7 hours.
God,
and I'm not sure how long this went last night in Lincoln, but I think this would be great. Allow your fan base, and not everybody is upset. I mean, not everybody is going to just come, loaded for bear.
Yeah.
But it would be very fascinating to watch a whole town hall, the state of Creighton, Omaha, or Nebraska athletics, and it's the AD just fielding questions from fans instead of on a radio show. It's like in person, which is a little bit different.
Wouldn't it be incredible if like somebody went up there and just started reading just all of the terrible stats that have happened to Nebraska football since because our friend Josh Peterson has been doing the Groin Kick Chronicles, and I've been listening to those episodes, and it's incredible how often during these podcast episodes Josh will go, it was the first time since 1950 that Nebraska it was the first time since 1948. Like it would be incredible if somebody were to stand up there and read all those, but they would never do it. They would never do it because of that. They would never do it because they know that it would only sell because it would be negative.
A show?
No. Do you know what I think they could do? They would do it, but they would put it in a very small venue. They would go on campus to one of those theaters that only seat 150 people. And you would have a line out the door. Yeah, you'd have a line out the door for 8 hours, people waiting to get in so they could ask Troy Dannon one question.
He was on campus. What building was he in yesterday? Because it was a smaller building on campus.
There's a theater that's right next to the one of the libraries that is a pretty typical place for people to have talks. Also, the student union, there's rooms in the upstairs in the student union where a lot of people have conferences and whatnot. That they probably do it there.
Oh, Kimball Hall. Okay, so yeah. They said there were 750 members in the audience at Kimball Hall. Why not do it at Pinnacle Bank? Do it at Baxter. Do it at the Chai.
You know what? How about this? You want to make money? We're talking about the financial era, the fiscal era.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually be a pretty genius idea. We're going to have a 3-hour State of the Union, Nebraska Athletics Town Hall.
Sell concessions, alcohol.
Bang.
People tailgating beforehand.
Sell tickets. No,
it's free. No, it's free.
I'm just saying from a money perspective.
Bro, we're done selling things, okay? They only got 2,500 people to spend $10 minimum to come watch them practice.
I know it. They had less people in attendance on Saturday than they did last year.
Yeah,
which is kind of surprising.
That thing is not going away. They might tweak it a little bit with the schedule of that day, but you can't. You're not charging for this. This is an open forum. Maybe Creighton would want an open forum.
Well, I mean,
public versus private, but I think all three athletic directors are really, really personable people that, they'll have great stories to tell at the particular places.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Nebraska's case, This would be great. What if Rule? What if Rule?
Great for who? Like great for
No, not
for
everybody
them?
would be upset.
I don't know.
Like. Okay, let's play this game here.
Sure.
Okay, you can be like Rosina.
Okay.
Rosina apparently writes letters to Congressman Flood,
Okay.
and then he responds, and then she fact checks and sends it back to him. That's the interaction I watched last night. I was
Okay.
like, hey, okay.
I'm looking at some of these chances.
What would be the most, if you are going to something like this, and I think this is a brilliant idea, what would you what would you be upset about?
Okay. So
you know what? I will play the role of
Sure.
Troy Dannon.
Sure.
We're both Iowans.
You
have to identify your name first.
Okay. Hi. I'm Chris Masters. I live on 50th and O.
You'd be kicked out right away. You already lied.
Okay. I'm Matt McMaster.
Okay.
I live in Omaha.
You don't have to say your last name. Just say Matt, and then I would say, hi, Matt.
I'm an alumni.
You got your Nebraska gear on today?
Of Nebraska.
Hey, great. What's your major?
I was in journalism, Mr. Gannon. In my
rough industry, don't buy a house.
I'm saving up, sir.
Okay.
For 4 years.
Love those young Husker fans, don't we?
Thanks. For 4 years, I went to this school, and the football team had the worst record it ever had since 1950. No other graduating class had to suffer more losses than my class. I was wondering, what makes this different? Why is it so much? What's going to turn this around? Why did I lose so many games? Why were we so bad at football, and how are we going to get better? Thank you for taking my question.
All right. When was your last year in school?
2024, sir.
Okay.
So we'd never made a bowl game in the 4 years that I went to college, which has never happened before in Nebraska football history.
Yeah,
why did that happen, Troy?
It's too bad, Matt. You couldn't have extended your stay at school and done another year because we made the bowl game last year. I have to tell you, Matt, I was not here when all that went down, so we're kind of trying to figure out why Nebraska football hasn't been able to sustain some consistency and deliver a product that you, like a young alum, because we're going to need your support down the road, that you want to support our program. But I'm here to tell you, you can clearly see, because you look like a football guy, just the way you're dressed.
Thank you.
Maybe you got cut from your football team because you look like a guy that's wearing football gear. But you can tell, because you look like a football knower, that this is headed in the right direction. We got the right coach who is one of us. He's one of us.
Yeah.
Okay. You never thought our previous coach was one of you because you weren't good at Golden Tee. Okay. If you were as good at Golden Tee, you would have that coach is just like us. Okay.
Sir, I have a second question.
No, I'm not done finishing yet here, but I'll let you speak because this is what we do. It's an open forum. We're glad to have everybody here. Don't forget on your way out to sign those pledge cards to 1890. But we clearly have made some changes and the momentum is going in the right direction. But what we need you to do, Matt, is to go back to your constituents and tell them the story of what we're doing here. Tell them that this is the time to invest, to get in on the ground floor, because when we blow up and we take off, man, I don't want to leave you behind. You've been loyal. Okay. So go and tell your friends that this is what you need to do. And then we're all going to be in this together. And you know what? We're all going to be rowing in the right direction, right, Matt?
What do you mean by leave me behind? Do I now have to give more money in order to support my team? Is that what you're saying, Troy Dannon? That I can't support Nebraska football unless I give money to 1890?
Clearly, you understand that we're a Fortune 500 company. I am the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Unlike previous Fortune 500 companies that have exited our state, Lair in Omaha, we're staying. I don't believe that we are leaving. We're going to stay. But clearly, as we make a transition in the new age of college athletics, we are under the professional model. Money is everything, but we don't want to pass along the cost to you. Sure. So we're going to need your help. And your help, along with what we have done, is going to come together, and we're going to really make this work. Okay. See, this would be great.
I have a banger.
Because there would be some people that would be unhinged, and they would be like, blah, 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 blah. And Dannon, who speaks very calmly, his cheeks might get a little bit redder.
Big time.
He might say, okay, Chris, contact my secretary and we'll work it out.
Is that what Mike Flood said yesterday to one of the answers?
I didn't watch enough of that. I just watched clips of people. I was just trying to see if I knew anybody. Like the guy that went before the city council in Lincoln about the chicken nugs.
Oh, yes.
I was looking like, wouldn't that be great if he showed up? But the clips I've seen, he's not there. But I think this would be great. You know, they football programs, particularly in the South, you know, Iowa and Iowa State do this. Nebraska kind of has done this once in a while. They'll make tours of the state in the offseason. So they meet with their fans. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like a town hall because they're up on stage and you're able to ask questions, but it's more of a pep rally. This would be just middle of the summer, town hall meeting, the state of the Huskers, the state of the Blue Jays, the state of the Mavericks. It's wide open. It's free. Any fan that wants to come, whether you're a season ticket holder, booster, whatever, you can come and you can hear the athletic director tell the stories, the great stories, because all three, again, have really good stories to tell about what's going on in their athletic programs. And you can ask questions. You can get questions answered in person.
I don't think they put themselves in well, I don't know if Dan would put himself in a pressure cooker like that.
Oh, I think he likes that.
I think it'd be because my next question would probably be like somewhere around like, hey, the best experiences I had as a student was basketball. Basketball beat #1 Purdue. They beat a top 10 Wisconsin team. They went on an incredible run. Why aren't you investing more in basketball? Why is that not a sport that you're going to put more money into? I think that's a really tough question to answer and try to explain to people in a very short time, like on the spot. And it's like, I think it'd be awesome if he answered that question. I think it would be awesome if he answered a lot of questions.
I'm sure he's been posed that question many times. Has he ever answered it publicly on his radio show or in an interview?
I have not seen.
Or maybe it's not been asked.
Maybe it hasn't, but I haven't seen a quote of him addressing like, hey, maybe why basketball may not get as big an investment.
What if he told you, because we are a football school, until we get football fixed, we're a football school?
So then I think there would be a lot of people who are diehard Nebraska basketball fans who would then say, well, if you're a football school and you're not investing in basketball properly, then why should I continue to pay for my season tickets? Why should I continue to make this investment in the basketball team? You know, why are you pushing me out? Why are you pushing the basketball fans out?
I think when I think about this, that's an absolutely fair question. I think Jeffrey Gold is the only person that publicly has talked about the percentage. He was at a deal in Kearney about 2 weeks ago, and I think that he said football is 20% of the rev share.
Football's 20%? Not football.
Football gets 20% of the 20 mil.
Really?
Yeah. I got to go back and look. Okay. I wrote it down in a note.
That'd be a big deal.
He spoke and that's what he said. And then there was a reasoning behind the sports that are getting.
I mean, 20% is only 4 million of 20 and a half. It's 4.5 million.
Not 20%. What did he say?
It would be.
Oh no, he said 75%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 20, the other 20, all the other sports.
25% goes to
the other sports.
Basically 3 other sports.
Volleyball, basketball, and am I missing one?
Volleyball and the 2 basketballs.
Oh, both basketballs. Okay. So no wrestling.
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, I would be interested. I mean, wouldn't it
certainly deserve it?
Wouldn't it? Probably more than anyone. I mean,
not more than volleyball.
Well, good point, but more than a lot of teams. I would prefer them. More than a forum, I would like if they just had a PowerPoint presentation where they're like, here's the pie, here's what's going into the pie, here's who's getting what of the pie. Just be fully
How would that
transparent.
change your opinion though? Like, would you be triggered?
I would just like to know. I would just like to be educated.
Dude, football is king. Like Joey is king.
No,
football is king.
Well, I'm not.
They gotta get football fixed.
Wait. I ain't pushing back against that at all. I totally want football to have the most money.
I want more for men's basketball, less for football. You might be on an island.
I'm not saying that. I did not say that. We were talking about a hypothetical forum in which I would be asking you hypothetical questions that might put you in a pressure cooker. And that's what there would be people who, despite the fact that deep down they know that football makes more money than anybody, so they're going to continue to invest in football. They don't want to hear that.
What if I told you football is a standalone? Okay. I've said this for a long time. They need to take the football out of the out of the model, okay? Because football skews the model. But what if I said to you, you know what? If men's basketball shows me a return on investment, we'll invest more. This is fluid.
I would say, with the lack of investment maybe that you've made, and these are not arguments that I'm making. This is like, if I was a diehard Nebraska basketball fan, I would be saying, hey, well, you could argue that Nebraska basketball, based on the investments that they've had over the last 2 years, have had an incredible amount of success. Why not put more into the sport and just see maybe if you can do better, because you could get better players and a better roster construction for a coach that you clearly like, for a coach that you clearly trust him. How can we know for sure if Fred Hoiberg can really turn this whole thing around if he isn't given the proper tools to actually reach the expectations that we have for him?
Well, you know what, Matt? I appreciate your loyalty, and I hope you find a good job so that you can support the athletic department. But that's a sport that falls under the umbrella is show me before I grow you. They're already, we already take care of them pretty well, but we got to take care of football. But if you show me, I'll grow you.
That sounds like feel like you can. I have a dirty mind. If you show me, I'll grow you.
Yeah.
I think that there would be a lot of people.
How'd you like that on a PowerPoint?
Look, first off, I'm gonna be honest. I think the forum should just be you. You should just do the forum for Troy Dannon.
Absolutely
because
not.
See, exactly.
Sorry,
exactly my point. Why would he want to do it?
I would get because my attention span at the point I'd be just like, yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right. Okay, next, you're right. Yeah, okay.
Hour and a half in, you'd be like, great point. Next question.
You're an idiot. Yes, I am. Okay, next. I would be like, okay. No. These are great ideas. I know. So,
but there would be some crazy Nebraska basketball fans who would not care about the logic of the things because the logic that you were presenting is totally right. Like, you are right. You got to invest in football, and you could definitely make the argument, hey, we've given basketball enough money where they can make the tournament.
You know where the outrage would be the wrestling community. They'd step up and say, bro, okay, you're from Iowa. Okay, they wrestle in Iowa. We wrestle here in Nebraska. Did you see what Mark Manning did last year? He got to number 2 in the country. Okay, they're going to have national championship hopes. Why aren't we supplementing wrestling? Why do I have to hear my coach sometimes going, man, we got to compete against the Bumblebees, and it's not fair out there? That would be the one that I think would be unhinged. I think Nebraska basketball fan is kind of, it sucks, but you've accepted it. You've accepted it. Show me and I'll grow you. Put that on a bumper sticker. They still make them. All right. Sam McKewon's coming up in 30 minutes.
T. Dannon license plate on the road. Show me, and I'll grow you on the bottom right bumper.
If I was an athletic director, that's what I'd say. Like I don't know, rifle comes into my office. They're like, hey, we got this great person that can shoot a gun. They live in West Virginia. Well, show me and I'll grow you.
If Rifle walked into the office, I'd be like, are you really? I mean, we're tied up pretty tight right now.
Hey, show me and I'll grow you if you beat like our service academies.
Or TCU. They have a monster rifle program.
Oh, I bet they do.
In West Virginia.
So do the service academies. And probably, I think Bill and Mary do as well.
I think LSU won recently too.
In rifle?
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that. They probably have a good recruiting base down there in Louisiana. All right. Hour number 2 is coming up next to Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, Bruin Steve says about Weird Al, who is in Lincoln tonight. I said resale ticket prices are crazy. He had a buddy that just saw him in Texas and said it was a fantastic show.
What's your favorite Weird Al song?
Good question. Eat It.
Same. It's the only one I know.
Just a great song.
Does he have any new stuff, Joey? Like, is it? I mean, I think he would be a very entertaining performer. We tried to book him when I was in Fort Myers.
I'm not too sure if he's got any new content.
No, I think he did a whole thing with Hamilton. I'm pretty sure he like remixed the entire Hamilton soundtrack, and that was like probably like 4 or 5 years ago that he did that. Like if you look up Weird Al best songs, they're all from 1985, 1999, 1996, 1990. Trapped in the Drive-Thru. Smells Like Nirvana. I know that one. That's a good one. There are so many Weird Al songs.
We got so many in our catalog. I just took a look at.
I don't think he's releasing anything recently. He did do that Hamilton thing though. And I feel like that just is a fun show. Even if you like haven't heard any Weird Al songs and you're not very familiar with Mr. Yankovic, I think Mr. Yankovic, you'd still be able to go there and have an incredibly good time.
He's 65.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good for Weird Al. He looks good for 65.
Oh, yeah, that kind of hair.
At least another decade of performing.
Oh, I mean, hey, so we tried to book him in Fort Myers. He was about $20,000 to play at a minor league stadium after a game.
Okay, good for Weird Al.
Yeah, I was like,
that was too much for the Fort Myers Miracle budget.
I was like, maybe not today.
Hey, it's Tim Tebow night, or Weird Al comes and plays.
Yeah, one didn't cost as much; the other would have cost us $20K. But he wanted to do the minor league baseball tour, but now he's still on tour. Pinewood Bowl sold out. There are some like
diehard,
you would say bigger acts that don't sell out Pinewood Bowl, but he is sold out. All right, Sam McKewon coming up at 7:30. We'll ask Sam if he'll be there tonight with the family. Sam strike you as a Weird Al guy?
Yes, he actually does.
Back in the day, he was all over MTV.
Yeah, totally. I could see, because Sam definitely is one of those dudes where he's into something that could definitely surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, whoa, Sam, I didn't know that you had an incredible Hot Wheels collection. You know, like I didn't know. Wow, Sam, I didn't know that you were really into like the cards that you would get from like bubblegum wrappers. You know, I didn't know that you had this massive collection of, G.I. Joe figurines. Like, I don't know, like just Sam strikes me as a guy who's very, very passionate about some very niche thing that nobody knows about. I could see him being like, oh, I'm all over Weird Al. Been a Weird Al guy since 1982.
We'll ask him when he comes up there in about 30 minutes. Shall we sing this morning? Because I'm starting a new group. All right.
Gary and the Garyettes.
Nope. This is we're gonna have a song, but this is the group.
Okay.
Nebraskans for Michigan to beat Oklahoma.
Okay.
I know it doesn't just roll off your tongue, but Nebraskans for Michigan to beat Oklahoma. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail to Michigan.
You should be ashamed. Ashamed for singing that.
Why are we not rooting for Michigan to beat Oklahoma?
Because I'm not going to root for Michigan.
I can't, because I got Ohio State fans in the family.
Oh, screw your family. Who cares, Joey? That doesn't matter.
Family only takes you so far, Joey.
It does. It only takes you so far.
I can't root for that team up north.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you why that this group is going to be starting. Now, I know there's a lot of doubt about Michigan, okay? A lot of it has to do with Bryce Underwood. I just want to point out something about Sherrone Moore. And he might be the fall guy for, post Harbaugh. But remember, he won some pretty good games. Now, those teams were pretty good when Harbaugh was suspended, correct? Then last year, they did beat USC.
Yeah,
they did beat Ohio State.
They did do that.
They did beat Alabama. Okay, he has 3 dudes that are in the NFL that were really good, but they were really good defensively at the end of the year. They do have a new quarterback with Chip Lindsey. A lot of people are doubting Michigan. They saw where Michigan was ranked yesterday and said, "What you talking about?" But
I certainly
think about this for Nebraska's sake. of grabbing a signature national victory. Could Nebraska be like Indiana last year and go until the next to last game of the season without playing a ranked team? Remember last year, Indiana went all the way because along the way they did play Michigan. There were some other teams we thought, oh, they might be okay. But, when they played them, they weren't ranked. They go all the way to the second to last weekend when they take on number 2 Ohio State. We saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But Indiana only beat 3 teams that went to a bowl game last year. They had the Hufflepuff schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Nebraska might play, even though it might be there's some 6-6 teams in there, Nebraska might play 8 teams that could eventually end up in a bowl game. But if you're looking for a signature win, why are we not rooting for Michigan to beat Oklahoma so that they remain ranked? They're 14th in the coaches poll. If they lose to an unranked Oklahoma, do they fall out of the poll before they ever get to Nebraska? And then there might not even be numbers next to teams that are playing.
So dependent, though, I do want to say this. Oklahoma was the 26th team on the coaches poll.
Okay.
And so they are kind of held in pretty high regard. If Michigan were, and I know this is all hypothetical, if they were to go to Oklahoma, play a damn near ranked Oklahoma Sooner team on the road, and it was very competitive, I could see maybe how Michigan could be like 23rd or 24th heading into Nebraska, playing that game. But I was thinking,
don't you want them higher?
Oh, I would love them to be higher. Oh yeah,
hail to the victors valiant, man. Hail to the conquering heroes.
I'll say this though.
Hail to the cheaters,
man. See, that's the problem. That's why I'm not rooting for them. I'm not going to root for cheaters.
You're very much you're a stickler on that. I appreciate you don't like the Astros. You don't like Michigan.
I can't stand them. And they will neither of them will ever get my support. But at the same time, I agree with you. It does give you a lot, though, of like 2019 Ohio State vibes in a way where you're like, all right, man, like hype season, young second-year quarterback. You're really excited about it. Man, like this could be a really good year. Things are going to turn around. You got a ton of momentum from the year before. You have a helmet team coming into your stadium. This could be the game where Nebraska gets a signature win and proves that they're back on the map, and then they lose 56-7 to the Wolverines. And you're like, man, this sucked. This season's almost like, it feels like it's almost over. Like it could give that vibe.
Wasn't 2019 in the last decade and a year, isn't 2019 the only year that Nebraska was projected to win more than 7.5 going into the year?
Oh,
wasn't the win total in 19 8.5?
I think it was. I think it. I mean, it definitely.
So thank you for bringing up 19.
Like,
so let me walk you through a scenario. Do you guys are you guys vibing here that Nebraska could go until the next to last week of the regular season and not play a ranked team?
Nebraska could be 10-2. And if they lose to Michigan and Penn State, their college football playoff hopes might be teetering a little bit. You don't think that?
Nebraska wins 10 games, they're going to a playoff.
Okay. So I was thinking
because they would be 7-2 in the league.
So, but here's where jive with me. Just roll with me for 2 seconds. Okay.
1001.
Indiana.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Indiana went 11-1 last year.
Yes, they did.
They had one real quality win, like a true. Well, they probably had 2, Nebraska and Michigan, but more so the Michigan win was considered more quality than the Nebraska win, and they lost 1 game, and they got their asses beat. Okay, and they still were very much up for debate of whether or not they were going to make the college football playoff. There still were national people who were saying that they should not be in the college football playoff, even though they went 11-1 because they didn't beat good enough teams. If you look at Nebraska, and if they were to lose to Penn State and Michigan, your best win would be a home win against USC.
Oh yeah, we'd have to fight off all the haters.
Yeah,
but
you would.
What
What
is the team that you just said? What's the team that would be 10-2?
USC. No, Nebraska.
What's that? What's Nebraska? Called Nebraska at 10-2? You're not leaving them out of the playoff. And I know it'll violate everything about a brand. Nebraska wins 10 football games. They're going to the playoff. Okay, because they're Nebraska.
They're going to want the numbers too.
They're Nebraska. Okay,
there'd be some arguments.
They would benefit from everything we are against. But Nebraska could play and finish the year with back-to-back games against ranked teams. I think Iowa will finish the year in the top 25. I think Gronowski raises their ceiling at quarterback. They have Indiana, Penn State, Oregon. They're all at home. I think possibly Iowa could be ranked when they come here on Black Friday.
I hate they don't have a true heir to Caleb Johnson. They don't have a true
But
hey,
remember, last year we didn't even know who Caleb Johnson was.
Great point. And they have one of the best centers in the country and returning 3 of the 5 starters in the offensive line. And Gronowski is a guy that you could also do some QB run stuff with because he's athletic like that. And they did that great with Brendan Sullivan, last year, in my opinion. I still freak out about the fact that you don't have, those talented wideouts that you're going to be able to, you're asking Gronowski to do a lot and play at a very high level with the lack of talent they have in the wide receiver room. But at the same time, it's hard for me to push back against Iowa and say, oh, yeah, no, I don't think that they're going to be ranked, or I don't think that they're going to have 8 or 9 wins coming into Lincoln, because we say that a lot and we doubt their wide receiver talent and we doubt their quarterback talent. And yet they put together a really efficient offense from a run game perspective and a defense that just doesn't make mistakes. So no, I mean, I think
they finished the year in the top 25.
I mean, logically from a roster building perspective, I think I disagree, but just from what we've seen in history and what we've seen in the past and what
they got better on offense last year with a better offensive coordinator.
Yeah. So
I don't consider them a dark horse. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're ranked. I mean, that'd be something. You go all season without facing a ranked team until the last 2 weekends.
I mean, I think that's pretty ideal. If we're being honest, I'd much rather play ranked teams in week 8 and week 9 and week 10 than having to play in week 1 or week 2.
Week 4, man. Go Michigan. Nebraskans for Michigan to beat Oklahoma. If you'd like to buy any merchandise, go to the website. It'll be up hopefully by the start of the season.
First of all, that's a terrible band name. We can come up with a better band name than that. What's the highway you take
Nebraskans for Michigan
what's the band,
to beat Oklahoma?
What's the highway you take from Nebraska to Oklahoma? Is it 20? Is there
Highway 75?
Okay, there you go. We can be the Highway 75 band.
That's an awful trip if you like going to Tulsa and you take
Oh, I've done that. It's awful. You're winding through Kansas. It's dark. There's no lights. The guy that you're driving with is an awful driver. It's a terrible moment.
Some people say drive the 81 and go south. But you know what? He's not on until middays. How many bowl teams do you think Nebraska will play this year? So Indiana had the Hufflepuff schedule.
Okay.
Nebraska's schedule is getting, there's opportunities awaiting. There could be a plethora of 6-6 teams by the end of the year that Nebraska had played.
USC.
Okay.
Michigan.
Okay.
Iowa.
Okay.
Penn State.
Okay.
UCLA.
Okay.
Minnesota.
Okay. There's 6. Could I interest you in
Michigan State?
Yes, and then could I interest you in a 6-6 Cincinnati team?
I think Michigan State and Cincinnati, to me, those are 2 halves that make one.
Well, I think they're one. You're 5-7, 6-6.
Yeah.
Pick your.
I would say Cincinnati probably goes 6-6. So I would say, what, 8 teams then? 8.
So 8 of your 12 would be in a bowl game.
But I think that, that's not bad. But like you said, UCLA probably goes 6-6, 7-5 maybe.
Yeah, there's not a lot of double-figure wins.
No.
But you could say, hey, look at the bowl teams that we played. Bowl games matter. All these discussions would violate everything that we always stand up for.
Well, your comment,
you're like, hey, does it benefit us? Hell yeah.
Well, we talked about it last year when we were doing the whole Alabama versus Indiana thing. And you and I both were on the subject of, if this is we're Nebraska, I ain't apologizing for anything. I'm saying sorry to nothing. Absolutely zero.
It's time to be selfish with your football team.
Well, I do want to say
that's why I want Michigan to beat Oklahoma.
I mean, I would love to see Michigan get absolutely rocked in Norman. I really would. I totally would enjoy them just getting absolutely bludgeoned and them deciding, hey, we're not going to suspend our coach for weeks 1 and week 2 so he can play this game. We'll suspend him for weeks 3 and weeks 4 so he can be here. And then just for them to get their ass whooped. It would be great. It would be incredible. It would.
You
would.
admit, you don't like Michigan, but that's a song.
Oh, it's great.
It is a good song.
It would help Nebraska. I'm telling you right now, though.
I bet they take their band on the road.
Okay. 10-2 with 2 losses to Michigan and Penn State. Okay. It probably gets you in. It probably gets you in. But
buy a plane ticket. You'd be going to somewhere.
But there would be some like tough discussions, and you would be pretty nervous on selection day. You would be. Yeah. You would be based on solely what happened last year. Nebraska would have a similar schedule and one more loss than Indiana. And Indiana nearly was not in the playoff. And there were people who were clamoring for them not to be in the playoff. It would be close.
You're a basketball
I'm
school.
not a basketball. Oh,
you know, Nebraska is Nebraska.
It would be now to your point. If Michigan were to be ranked in week 4 and Nebraska were to beat them in week 4, and let's say Nebraska loses to USC, so their 2 losses are to USC and Penn State, you could be like, well, look, they just had a tough game against USC. They still beat a ranked Michigan team at home and look good doing it. Like that, to your point, like that could be the benefit of Michigan beating Oklahoma.
Nebraska gets to 10, they're playing in the playoff. That's my opinion, because they are Nebraska.
Off of brand? Just strictly off of brand?
Haven't been there.
I know, but it's hard for me to say that because I was taking a crap all over Alabama for months.
That's okay. We'd violate everything that would happen. Violate everything that would happen.
I mean, but I in particularly have just taken crap after crap all over that school because they think that they're all high and mighty because of what they've done in the past.
Sam McKewon's going to join us before the hour is over on Gary and Matt with Joey. The King is here today on 1620 The Zone. Hey, this is a problem for some of you when it comes to your roof. I always tell you about my experience with Moosa Roofing and getting to know Pat and Randy and all the great guys and gals over there. They will say not all the time when a storm rolls through is there roof damage. Sometimes it's better to look at your roof when storms are not around to make sure that you're taken care of before the next storm is here. Because with Moosa Roofing, they're going to give you a peace of mind because they're here before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. But if you're thinking, man, why is my upstairs bedroom so hot? What's going on? Is that something with my attic? Is my roof? What's going on? What's the ventilation system look like? Yeah, that's where Moose Roofing is different. They're the MVPs of roofing in Omaha for a big reason, is their analysis, their technology, and their communication. So let's say you have an issue like that. They'll do more than roofing. They'll come out and they will look at attic ventilation, for example, how it can make a big difference in your house temperature as well as getting the most life out of your roof. And then they go to work. They give you a plan, show you pictures, video, everything. They work with your insurance company. Communication excellent from start to finish. The modern technology they use to provide a great explanation of what your home needs sets them apart. So I know you're thinking, contract. Think local, think Moose Roofing. See what they can do for you. Commercial, residential, roof repair, and service. Schedule an inspection today online at mooseroofing.com. This is a great video. Joey, you're right. We have a ton of Weird Al music in the system.
Yeah.
What station plays Weird Al?
I would say 101.9 The Gag would play every once in a while.
Okay.
I think they'll do a Weird Al hour, I would think.
Jeremy tweets at Gary Sharp 1620. He said, as good as Weird Al is in the opener, Puddle's Pity Party, a 6'10" clown with an incredible voice. So I went and looked him up, and there is a YouTube video of him performing a medley of classic rock songs reimagined around Kevin Costner. It looks awesome.
How people come up with ideas is absolutely incredible. Have you ever heard, there was a kid, he went to my high school, he's an alumni.
I've never met him.
No, he made a
Was he a clown?
He made a JFK documentary,
okay.
But all of the characters in the JFK documentary were frogs. like all of the people who were involved, all the FBI agents, the CIA agents, like JFK himself, they're all like frog looking, and so like it was just awesome. A lot of like art design. I watched a clip of it. It was absolutely incredible. It was like AI before AI. It was insane. As Kevin Costner is really the chef's kiss of that all.
John writes into the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Gary or Matt at 1620thezone.com. The subject is 10-2. Now, John, if they do, I'm not Phil Steele here. I'm not predicting 10 wins. I'm not Dave Revson predicting 11. All right. I haven't even made my prediction yet. I got to see a couple of things.
Yeah, I did jump the gun.
That's okay.
Bit.
That's okay.
But I think for
you like to get bang just in.
Yeah.
I like to stretch it out. I like to
sure.
Ooh, yeah.
I like to go quick. I like to peak very, very high. You like to kind of, let it reticulate a little bit.
There's a couple of things I would like to see in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think for me, what I would need to get them to push past 8-4, just currently isn't there. And it's just, I'm not going to know it's there until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where, and what I need is just more production from last year to this year, right? Just more like, top dudes. And it's just, you're just not going to know that until.
No, this is the year where last year was, I think they can win 7 with a chance to win 8. This year is, I think they can win 8 with a chance to win 9. But he says, I love when you guys and others start talking about Nebraska going 10-2. Start the day with a good belly laugh is a great thing.
I don't think it's belly laugh. I don't think you can belly laugh it. I think you can doubt it.
Oh, people in Iowa City and Madison that are listening to the show this morning are.
I don't think you can bet. Look at the schedule. Is that your Peter Griffin?
Beavis.
Yeah,
Beavis
No, yeah,
okay.
But like not a big fan. Like I know that there are like people who love.
When you give me that stare,
there's a new season.
No,
I'm thinking you're not familiar with Beavis and Butthead. But my faith is restored now.
We now have kind of a signal of when you bring up something that I just straight up don't know, and I just kind of give you a certain look, and you got it now.
When I look at you and you look like Caleb Williams is throwing another interception. I know.
No, because when Caleb Williams throws another interception, there's a hole in the wall. There's not, a blank stare at the TV.
It's just entertainment.
No, it's not.
I mean, I didn't fully go into smoking a pack of cigarettes last night after the Cubs game. It's just entertainment. You know what? You're going to wake up the next day and you're going to have a draft on the horizon. You'll be able to draft another quarterback.
I hate you. I don't want to draft another quarterback. I don't want to do it again. I don't.
It's part of being the Bears.
I'm so sick and tired.
Part of being a Bears fan.
Thank you, Joey. Okay. Response?
Okay, first off, it really didn't start until Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, there was not a first round, like Rex Grossman came in, he got drafted, right? First round quarterback, but then he ended up going to the Super Bowl. Since that, there was a 10-year gap where the Bears weren't necessarily drafting all of these top quarterbacks and wasting them. I just want to throw that out there. Then, yes, the last 3 have not panned out well, but Mitchell Trubisky hasn't panned out anywhere, and Justin Fields, can't stop himself from either getting benched or getting injured. So I don't want to hear about it's all the Bears' fault. That the quarterback prospects aren't good.
Might just be a Bears thing. The franchise never had a 4,000 yard
pass. Can't develop
passer.
that position.
That's crazy, isn't it, Joey?
They just can't develop that.
I just don't.
You can't make some stuff of that. You can't make things up like that. That's really that hits you when somebody brings that up
get
in
him
a
in
discussion.
Now. Hey, get him in now. You too. You're fine. I mean, you're in the AFC. Get him in now. While you got him, because we're coming. You know it. You know it too. You know
you
we're
sure?
making great moves in the draft. We know we're
you
investing
sure?
in the offensive line.
Off
You know
season
we got a
champs
really
again?
good secondary.
You sure?
We've paid all the right guys. All the right guys, unlike that team up north. Bunch of B minuses.
Just win more than you
The
lose.
Green Bay B
Get to the
minuses.
playoffs.
That's all you are.
Win
You're
a
the
game in the
Green Bay B
postseason.
minuses. Just a bunch of B minus football players. It's okay.
See, now you're getting agitated. Your blood
No,
pressure is
because
going
I
to go
don't
up.
want to think
Division,
about a
get to the
world. I don't
postseason.
want to think
Your
about a
acid
world
reflux
where
is going
to
to kick in. Joey's just like methodically over there, like
He's doing nothing.
He subtly
Dude,
throws in a word. That's like you got to worry about people like Joey.
No, I don't, because Joey knows that I have the facts. Look at Joey right now. Joey knows I'm right.
Tell your quarterback
Joey
to throw
knows
the ball
I'm
in the net.
correct.
You're
Joey
on edge.
knows
Joey's
he overpaid.
calm.
Joey knows he overpaid for his quarterback. Joey knows that his secondary is not going to be good this year. Joey knows that he's resting all of his hopes on a first-round wide receiver. It's okay, man. Do it.
He's looking good.
Yeah,
in
Christian
practice.
Watson's going to be great this year. Let me know when he plays a full season.
No, I'm talking about Matthew Golden. He's looking good in practice. He's a guy to watch
they
out
always
for.
look good.
What former Husker did you have that made 3 interceptions on family night?
There you go.
We don't have former Huskers on our team. Unfortunately, we draft a lot from Mississippi State.
You had one of the best Huskers on your team at one time.
Well, Mike Brown. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean,
You ain't got no Omar Brown.
no,
No.
but Mike Brown is way better than
We have
Brown.
a Sam McKewon. That's a hot take. We have a Sam McKewon sighting coming up next on Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's welcome a good friend, Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, Weird Al fan, yay or nay? Because he's in Lincoln
he's
tonight.
Right.
Okay.
Is he? Is he in Lincoln tonight?
Yeah, he sold out Pinewood Bowl.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, I was sort of, I don't know, like 10 or 11 or 12 when he became a big deal. So what was his big song? It was a riff off of Beat It, Eat It.
Eat It.
Yeah. That was a popular one in the McKewon household.
The Superstars performed to that.
And then he made a movie, UHF, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Oh, I see here.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm more of a movie guy than anything. I remember that movie.
I definitely. Do you still have your movie Twitter account?
Kind of. Yeah, sort of. But I don't update it as much as I used to, like virtually at all. I've seen most of the movies this summer, not all of them, but I don't have, Husker athletics calls. So
favorite movie of the summer that you've seen before we get into football?
Oh, I thought, there's parts of the Mission Impossible movie that are really, really good. It's a little long.
It is long.
I haven't seen Eddington yet, which I want to see. Probably 28 years later. Not everybody loved that movie, but I thought it was pretty good. That's the third of those movies. It's better than I thought it would be. So I'd say that one. Summer movies are never, there hasn't been an Oppenheimer this summer. There hasn't been a
Barbie.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 or a X-Men 2 or one of the 4 or 5 really good Avengers movies. Superman was okay. I thought it was all right. So yeah, like I would say that's, it's been a modest summer. Friendship. Okay. So if anybody knows who, I Think You Should Leave guy on Netflix, Tim Robinson.
Oh.
So he made a movie. Not everybody knows who he is, but that movie, I liked it because I like Tim Robinson, but that's not for everybody. Trust me.
Hey, let's, today is defensive day in Lincoln. The DC talks and his defensive back coach talks, and they're kind of intertwined, and Phil Snow is involved as well. But defensive backs, a little bit of what you saw on Saturday night and what how good can that group be, from cornerbacks to safeties to nickels to whatever they do back there with the guys that they have? What's the ceiling for the back end of the defense?
They can be pretty good. I'm not saying it's going to be 09, but they can be really good. They have a lot of interchangeable parts. Guys don't have to play 70 snaps a game. Typically, your corners in college football do play pretty much the whole game, but your safeties don't necessarily have to play 75 snaps. You can move guys in and out. They've got options. If they want to go to a dime, they can do a dime and not feel like they're completely inept at stopping the run. They've got some bodies that can go make plays in the dime against the run. I feel like they've got, decent cover corners. So Sierra Wright and probably Andrew Marshall, but don't sleep on Bly Hill and some of the other guys that are there. I think they're pretty good. And then the safety options are really intriguing. I mean, Donovan Jones, has now moved to safety, and maybe he'll get nickel or over. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly where he's going to line up on the field. He could be a slot corner. He could be a bunch of things. But yeah, they got players. They've got players all over the back end. You can only play about 5 of them at a time. Sometimes, again, you can get to 6 if you A, feel really good that you can stop the run with it, or B, it's 3rd and 9. So that's 5. That's about half the defense that's bound up in that unit, and I do feel like they're pretty strong at this point.
I was reading your things that we learned after the week 1 of camp. It was a really good article overall. But your first point, you talk about paring down the offense. That it seems like it's gotten the offense under Dana. They've cut some things out, and it's gotten more simpler. And I think that's really interesting because I feel like we're in a world of just football in general, where it's like the more complicated, right, the better, right, with emotions and the different formations and personnels and whatnot. But in your opinion, how does this benefit Nebraska of maybe just cutting down some of maybe the surplus plays that they had and focusing more on maybe a smaller playbook.
Yeah, and I still think it's probably pretty robust. But I think probably what Holgerson has done is he's basically said we're not going to necessarily design our offense around being in the right play and tricking the defense with a really good play call, but by paring down the number of plays we run. No, they're not saying this, and so I could be wrong. Running it at a little bit quicker tempo because you're not having to try to switch your personnel groups and the play calls every other play, and then being able to execute. In other words, okay, we're running this play against this defense, and we've repped it so many times that we now know where the answers are. And if there is no answer deep, then to throw it short and let Emmett go to work. And so I think, from his perspective, from Holgerson's perspective, it's more of a holistic approach to offense. It's more of a system of thought. And in some ways, it's comparable to Bo's defense back in the, before they went to the Big Ten, of like, it was a lot of principles. Like you'd see him teach it, and it was more of a principle-based defense, and you could kind of do whatever you wanted out of it. And it had answers for a whole bunch of different things. But the idea was to run the base defense, which, again, was basically a 6-man DB group because it had such a good defensive line, and just apply the principles over and over. And I think some of what Nebraska wants to do is certainly not just run one offense, one play, but they want to be able to apply the principles that Holgerson puts in place, go for the routine play. Sometimes the routine play is going to become a big play because the defense is going to make a mistake. Apply those principles and work them over the course of 4 quarters, and you're going to get where you want to go. I do think that's probably a good way to be. It does have its moments in the red zone where you're going to, play calls in the red zone do matter, in my opinion. So they're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, I think they've probably done a really nice job of, as we like to say, creating an identity around the offense.
We saw the quarterbacks go through, I would say, simple work, but it was fascinating to watch the different level of quarterbacks. I mean, nobody is like Dylan. Gramstad is solid. But then TJ Lateef, I couldn't take my eyes off number 14, and I liked him when they got a commitment from him. And the fact that he was here early and he gets a chance to fail and then succeed and grow. Ideally, what do you think this year their plan would be for him?
To get him in some games, certainly a red shirt situation, not playing all full-time backup and getting mop-up duty in 7 games, but potentially getting in the football game a couple of times, traveling with the team, experiencing it that from that level, and preparing to be the backup next year, and then preparing for a battle for the starting job come 27, when it would be him and Dayton Raiola and the newly arrived Trey Taylor. And just my opinion, I think Lateef having 2 years would have a major leg up on Trey Taylor. As good as I think Trey Taylor is, it's very hard to make up for 2 years. And so Lateef, if Lateef looks at it the right way, I'm not saying he will, but he can say, well, listen, if I was going to a major football program, I'd have to, I came to this place knowing that Dylan was here for the next 2 years, but short of them bringing in a transfer, there's not going to be anybody that's more experienced on that roster come 2027 than me at playing quarterback here. And so I would think that's a great deal. Now, he may decide, well, you know what, I want to go to Group of 5 and play 3 years and have a lot of experience and try my hand there. In my experience, when you go down to that level, what they're really looking for is like seasoning and all of that stuff. So they're not actually looking to play true freshmen down at the Group of 5 level, because a lot of times those Group of 5 head coaches are trying to move up, and they run pretty complex offenses, and they want 5th-year guys they don't care if the guy's 5'11". Is he basically a coach on the field? So I think the best opportunity for young quarterbacks that want to develop is in programs like Nebraska that has a 5-star in front of them. You get 2 years to develop, and then you get to try your hand at starting. And I think that's probably the trajectory. Now, again, if he wants to change that, well, he can go somewhere, but it's just not that easy. It really, really isn't. Playing quarterback at the collegiate level often takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. Dylan is rare. And so I think Latif, if he sticks in there and he stays with it, I think he'll have a great chance of being the number one guy in 27.
Your countdown for the Omaha World Herald of most important Huskers. It ended today. I won't spoil who number one is. Go ahead, and everybody who's subscribed, go ahead and look at that and read it. But your number two guy was Emmett Johnson, and I think that's a totally respectable pick. How important he is in the running back room, being the clear number one guy. But with him being as important, where would you say is now the importance of all the other guys behind him? Because I think there definitely is the panic. And I don't want to say panic, but there definitely is the worry of what happens if Johnson does go down.
Yeah. Well, I think they've got a couple of guys that can at least go in there and be serviceable, maybe above that. I certainly feel like Nelson and Mosey both did some nice things on Saturday at the open practice. They're both, physical, fast runners. And so I think the only thing they lack is experience. I do think they're going to be good players. And Connor Booth, I thought, flashed a little bit. And we kind of forget Connor because he played at Ashland. He played in a small school, not Ashland.
Newman.
He played at Ohio Newman, but he played C1 is what I mean. And we kind of forget about him a little bit because C1, and then he got hurt. There was all this whatever. But no, he can play. And he was really, really good in high school in multiple different kinds of offenses. He was initially in sort of a triple option, and they kind of moved to a spread thing. So they know what they're doing, and Connor knows what he's doing. And it'll be really intriguing to watch just how it develops over the course of the year and whether or not, Emmett, I think Emmett will probably stay healthy. Emmett's done a pretty good job of that over the course of his career. But they'll get chances for the other guys. It won't surprise me one bit if through the first 3 games of the season, one of the backups has at least 25 carries because they'll be playing Cincinnati, Akron, and Houston Christian. So I think you'll see a lot of those guys early, and then who does well early is probably going to be a predictor for who gets to play against Michigan and Michigan State.
Offensive line will be known for run blockers or pass blockers this year. We'd like them to be both, but let's say one is stronger than the other. Which will it be?
I think run blocking. Yeah. I think that's probably where they'll be better. And that's not a bad thing. You want to be able to turn around and hand the ball off to your running back or, give it to him in the shotgun and have him get 4 or 5 yards without having to use your quarterback. That's what you want. And the reason for that is anytime you start inserting your quarterback into the run game, you open the door to way, way more turnovers, just way more. Because, the running backs are actually trained to carry the ball. And most guys that don't play for Army and Navy are really not if they're quarterbacks. So you want to be able to hand the ball off to your running back and get 5 yards every time. And if they have a good line that can block, then it sets everything else up. It creates a play action pass that's actually effective. And I think they're going to be decent at pass blocking, but I think run blocking is where their strength is. Lutowski, Spindler, Pritchett's a very good run blocker. We'll see how good of a pass blocker he is. So I think that they're going to be good. As an example, the 2017 offensive line could pass block. They were good at it. Tanner Lee wasn't sacked that many times that year. And, but look at their record, and their inability to run the ball created a whole lot of problems for them. So I would say the ability to run block is more important at the collegiate level. And in the NFL, it's different, but at the collegiate level, being able to run the football is paramount.
Some people have and I'm being one of those people, have some pretty big concerns in terms of the defensive line, strictly just because of just what they're missing from last season to this season with Robinson and Hutmaker, both one getting drafted, one graduating, and then signing. After a week of what you've heard and what you saw on Saturday, are you more confident or nothing has changed in terms of your personal outlook on the defensive line?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those deals where they're just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that I'm less confident. I think I do think their position coach is a great, energetic coach who knows his stuff, and I think they did get the right guy for that role. He is a good coach, and he's got a lot of tools, and he's a motivator, and I do think those guys are responding to him. We'll just have to see how it goes. And, that's what we're going to find out, I guess. Elijah Judy's got to play really well. And I think he can. Cam Lemhart's got to play really well. Riley Van Poppel's got to play really well. Keona Davis, who is part of that number one defense on Saturday, can he hold up against the run? We know he can rush the passer. Can he hold up against the run? So there's a whole bunch of questions for that unit. And even though the Jack linebackers are sort of their own thing, they're kind of down by the line of scrimmage. So I kind of count them. And so, Phil Simpson's got to get those guys going. So we'll just have to see. I think that's the one part of the defense. We'll ask Butler about it today. I think he'll give an honest answer about where they're at. And we'll compare it, all right, to the way he talks about the secondary.
Yes.
Because that's how you kind of tell.
Yeah.
Like, what you listen for specific praises. And I think he'll have very specific things to say about the secondary. Whereas I think that defensive line, it'll be like, yeah, they're coming, they're working really hard,
Yeah.
You always listen for specific praises, because that's a tell. They're never going to dog their own guys, but are their compliments very broad, or are they specific?
Yeah, let's say they're hell on wheels with 3.5 wheels, something like that. Sam, we appreciate it as always. We'll see you later.
All right, take care.
That's Sam McKewon of the World Herald. They're talking about the helmet communication for defense being in a defensive back helmet.
So you communicate it back to front all the way down. So what, Singleton then probably would be my guess. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know how many teams have done
smart group of defensive backs. One move was made that, God, I loved him at cornerback, but they got a log jam at cornerback. Donovan Jones at safety. I think he was where he was at cornerback. I think he had an edge and an advantage. And I think he's more in the mix at safety.
But they've been
that's somebody to watch in the next couple of weeks, because he can play some football.
Sure.
But I liked him at cornerback, and now he's got to go to safety.
The one thing though about that DB room that I do like, and they've done it really since Rule has gone, is the cross training and just making sure that, hey, like, the corners can play safeties and the safeties can play corners.
Aren't you glad that they're not going to have to do that?
Well, I'm just glad that they have not only depth but now versatility too. Like, it's
I don't think the guys are gonna. I don't think they want guys swapping anymore. Like, we'll train them.
I'm sure
we'll train them.
Oh, that's
but if
what
a
I'm
guy
saying.
is a cornerback, we're keeping him as a cornerback because they're building depth. Well, I think that just kind of exposed we didn't have enough depth, and if a guy went down.
Sure.
Then I never thought of it like a badge of courage of, hey, we got guys that can play cornerback and safety.
Well, now, but I look at it now as it's a good, to me, it's a good thing that you have it now. I agree with you. Maybe it's not a great thing that you had to do it, but the fact that you do have some versatility with like Hartzog and Buford and some dudes, and now you have it with Jones, where it's like, okay, if Sierra Wright or Andrew Marshall do go down, which injuries in the secondary were a problem, you could pretty dependably, possibly switch him back from safety to corner or something like that, because he has experience there. So I just, the secondary, it's just great. Just how many, it's almost like not that you don't have to worry about it, but there are definitely positions on this team where it's like, man, if you get hurt at quarterback, you're like, oof, like that's going to be tough. You don't have to feel that way at all with the secondary.
We'll see if we'll hear the name Khan or Rhett much this week. Because if you don't, then you go, there's some young guys going to play a lot of football in that back end. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. Hour number 3 coming up a little bit later. Brian Christopherson. We'll actually talk some basketball because Rink has been cleared to play 5-on-5. Joey, head down to the Hendricks. You'll probably get a little pickup game with the Dutchman.
Yeah. Might as well get ready for November. Starting the countdown.
Let's go.
Start the countdown already.
Can Fred Hoiberg break into the top 10 coaches in the Big Ten? 402-951-1620. It's a good off-season topic. Also, Andy Kendi will stop by on 1620 The Zone. All right, a couple of signs yesterday. Actually, a trio of signs that football is closer than it's ever been. One, they updated the CFB.guide, which, Joey, is that one of your Bibles?
Yeah, it's one of them.
So the guy that runs it just updated week 0 and week 1, which is a great schedule graph. Now, number 2, if you're up early this morning and you're like, you know what? Netflix is putting out banger after banger of documentaries around sports. I watched the first 15 minutes of Any Given Saturday, the SEC one.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Really good?
Yeah.
Like incredible?
Yeah, they had a lot of access.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly is a dinglehead in this. The little bit I've watched, and I did not get to the point of Pavia, but he's going to come across as not a guy that's going to walk your mom across the street.
Sure.
But the first 15 minutes, and they released it today, is pretty good. It's you can hate the SEC but love college football, and you're going to love the pageantry. But they got a ton of access. They teased Billy Napier, like they were with Florida as they went through the roller coaster. So that looks really good. And then the other sign that football is closer than it's ever been tonight. Yeah, looking live. Hard Knocks.
That was a good one.
Hard Knocks is tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. Buffalo Bills. First off, I had no clue that the Bills were on Hard Knocks, which just goes to show you how far that show has fallen. Like, Hard Knocks, the first episode of the year, used to be like a damn religion. Like, for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm buckled in. Philbin and the Dolphins. Terrell Owens is on the team. Like, this is gonna be. I mean, oh my, who could forget the Matt Schaub, the Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, Bill O'Brien led Houston Texans team. I mean, have you guys gotten JJ Watt rapping "Remember the Name" out of your brain yet? I haven't. Okay, I remember Brian Cushing being an absolute psycho on HBO. And if you really want to take it all the way back, Hard Knocks used to be a competition-based thing where they did it one year with the Dallas Cowboys, where they had a bunch of football players try out and do a bunch of drills and like play in games, and they would eliminate them one by one. And the winner of it got like a practice squad spot on the Cowboys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did this like back in like 2009. Like it was like a different kind of setting of Hard Knocks. It was incredible. Now I don't care. The Browns ruined it.
The last time I watched Hard Knocks was the post-Packers documentary with Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard, and Randall Cobb, and the other few Packers I think that were on the team. I just watched that just to see what they can get from Aaron Rodgers. That guy is such an interesting fella.
So I imagine a couple of the storylines will be Josh Allen's wedding.
Yep.
That'll be the opener for sure.
And then they have a little drama. So they've got James Cook, who's having a hold-in.
Yes.
So there's some drama there. I also think it's great that the Bills, I actually think that it got ruined when the Raiders had editorial discretion, because then things start, like the Raiders kind of got burned by some things that were aired. And so they fought back in the middle of the season while it was going on. And it really hasn't been the same. We do not have the Jets anymore. We don't have, let's go get a snack. But Joey, you probably know this. I think the stat still remains. No team that has been on Hard Knocks has gone on to win the Super Bowl in the same season.
Yeah, but
that sounds about right.
When you're doing the
don't ruin the stat. The stat is most important. That's facts.
They do bad teams.
Nope.
They do some really
but the
bad
NFL,
teams.
Bad teams can all of a sudden be better.
Yeah, I know, but they did the previously
Who's the
0-16
Indiana Hoosiers of the NFL.
The Indiana Hoosiers of the NFL this year, probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Probably the San Francisco 49ers.
Probably Tampa.
But what I'm saying is,
I love that shout from you, Joey.
Yes, they do. They do. If you suck, you get on Hard Knocks. But in the NFL, you can go from worse to being a playoff team. I don't know if the Bills, when they agreed to this, knew the stat, and maybe they want to reverse the curse that a team that has been on Hard Knocks during that season has never made the Super Bowl.
Josh Allen,
it's also
the 2024 NFL MVP, receiving the award for being the league's best player. his trophy wasn't the only piece of hardware he got in the offseason. And then they cut to him at the wedding. That's what it'll be.
It's also their last season at their original stadium, so there might be something surrounding that as well. The construction of their new open world football stadium.
It looks great.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible.
fantastic.
It's monstrous.
So
Hey, NFL business is good because Tennessee's building a brand new stadium as well.
my team was on Hard Knocks last year. And
Oh, I know.
the incredible quote from our owner, who definitely didn't want to do it, was, well, we got 4 more laps around the track.
I just remember it was kind of cool. I enjoyed Kevin Warren getting there before the sun came up and paused at the George Halas statue. And at that moment, I said, "You guys are effed." Okay.
I think we were effed when we spent 35 minutes on Matt Eberflus's beard. That's when I knew we were kind of screwed. I'm like, can we spend a little time on his defense? Can we spend a little time on the play calling? That Raiders season was one of the last great seasons, though. Like that was
Of Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
Because they had the Antonio Brown
Wh-
saga.
he
with
burned
feet.
his feet,
Yeah.
then he got traded. Then
But the Raiders had a lot of like editorial control over it, and then it just picked up after that. But one thing is not changed with Hard Knocks is what's his name? Schreiber. What's his first name? The narrator.
Peter Schreiber?
No.
I know.
Leaf Schreiber.
It's Leaf Schreiber.
Leaf Schreiber. There was the one year where Paul Rudd was the voice of Hard Knocks, but he
Gotcha.
has been the voice of Hard Knocks. Like you went from John Facenda, who was the signature element of the show and NFL films, to this voice.
Well, he
It's
did.
fantastic.
They did the whole
Na-na-na.
Caleb Williams is as popular as Michael Jordan, and then they did the like Bulls walkout, but they announced the Bears players, and he was really, really good at it. And then,
That went over well.
yeah, thanks for reminding me.
But if you get Arch Manning, he'll be.
Stop it.
Another
Can we
quarterback.
please stop it?
Hey, can
Caleb
we
is going to be fine.
can we
Bring back
can
Hard
we-
Knocks to the Chicago Bears.
Caleb
this
isn't even the worst USC quarterback the Bears have had in the last 15 years. So he hasn't.
Let's
There's
see,
a lot
Rodney
of,
Pete did not play there.
no, Matt Barkley threw 5 interceptions against the Buffalo Bills in like week.
God, he looked good in USC uniform. Go back to Texas for a moment.
Yeah.
Just think about how much pressure is on the SEC in that game for Texas to beat Ohio State. I love that it's a 1-2 game. It's probably going to be on overload with Fox because I saw when I was watching the Speedway Classic game this weekend, they have already gone all in on the teaser to build up that game. After the poll came out yesterday, the coaches poll before the AP poll comes out next Monday,
Yeah.
I imagine they've redone it with 1-2 because we haven't had have we had many 1-2 to kick off the season?
See,
I
when
can't imagine that list is very long if there's a list at all. But the SEC's got to win that game. Can you imagine what we're going to do around here as Big Ten people? If Ohio State, which they have a lot to replace on offense and defense, they got a brand new defensive coordinator, new quarterback. They might have the 2 best players in all of college football, but then Arch Manning rolls in and Ohio State beats Texas. Imagine what that's going to do to the SEC.
Oh, it's going to cripple
There
them.
is so much pressure on the 40 acres and the SEC. That's what the hype should be. Like, what is Portnoy's gig there? Because he's pro Big Ten. Is he going to be like rooting for Texas because he
No.
hates Ohio State?
God,
That'll
great
put him in
point.
a pretzel.
I think that'll actually, and not to like dive back really deep into the Dave Portnoy discussion again, but I think the conversation that you and I had was, I thought that this would be really good for Fox if he was Mr. Big Ten, and you, understandably so, think that he'll more so than anything just be Mr. Michigan and crap all over all the other Big Ten teams. This will actually kind of answer that question of like, where does his allegiance, like, is this hey, we're trying to prop up the Big Ten in a way where you be just a massive Big Ten honk, or are you just Dave Portnoy and we're just putting you in front of everybody and we're just trying to get more people to click on our television program? Like that, it will literally answer the question of like what his role is supposed to be.
What is he gonna do? Because he can't say anything nice about Ohio State.
He should,
but
he
then
should,
he's got to say SEC.
he should definitely crap on Texas. He should just be like, can't stand Ohio State, think they're terrible, this and that, talking about cheating. But you know what? The Big Ten is great. They're the national champions. I don't want to hear about the SEC. Unfortunately, I'm going with the Buckeyes. That's what I think he should do.
Just say, why are we carrying this game? I don't like either team.
Both these teams are terrible, and both of them would lose to Michigan.
Why can't we have LSU Clemson?
That's
Is going to be
that's a really good
going to be
game.
quietly. That's a massive game.
banger.
By the way, Clemson, I think should be higher in polls.
Yeah, they have according to the SP Plus ESPN stat of like returning production, they have the highest amongst any team in college football. And you could probably argue that they have, outside of Penn State, the best roster around a top quarterback, because Cade Klubnik is literally going number one in some mock drafts for the NFL.
He's got a good collection of wide receivers. They have Parker and is it House on defense? Like their defense is like back to what the Clemson defense used to be like.
Those are two D linemen. They got a really good D line this year. I mean, also too, like a lot of people ran Dabo through the ringer because of his unwillingness to use the transfer portal. And there was that great stat until last season that the only teams that haven't taken transfers are the 3 service academies in Clemson. And he finally did dabble a little bit in the portal now this offseason. But like, I kind of love that Clemson is having this success building the roster the way that they have. I kind of enjoy the fact that they've been like, you know what? We're not going to spend all of this money and front load and overpay for a lot of these different players. Like, we've built a dynasty before doing this model. We're going to continue to do this model, and we'll evolve with this model. I think it's an incredibly impressive feat, honestly, that they've done it very differently than anybody else has.
I'm just staring at the college football guide, cfb.guide.
I didn't know this existed. I just looked it up. It's an incredible website.
You think Nebraska-Cincinnati will start on time,
No.
Joey? Boise State, South Florida is the game before. Well, hey, coaches poll.
That's hard.
Good luck, group of 5 this year.
I'm gonna say 8-10.
8-10 is your kickoff time?
They'll probably do a pregame special talking about Pat Mahomes and Dylan Raiola and then Travis Kelce. They'll try to tie everything in this game to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, is South Florida going to be good this year? I don't have
think
no
so.
idea.
They haven't been relevant in that
I mean,
conference.
Boise's what, they were ranked 18th?
That's a weird.
They're ranked 18th from the coaches poll.
Wait, so Miami of Ohio at Wisconsin and Nebraska at Cincinnati kick off at the same time, 8:00 on Thursday night.
There's also another Big Ten game in
Minnesota. Because
Yeah.
of the state fair, they always play on Thursday. But they got the Buffalo game on FS1. Good on them.
There's really there's not another Power 5 game going on during Nebraska Cincinnati.
How about the next day, on Friday, you have going on at the same time Auburn at Baylor and Georgia Tech at Colorado.
That's a 2 TV.
There you
That's
go.
2 TVs.
I don't know.
there.
That Western Michigan State game will be interesting too. Because I'm just saying, Western Michigan actually played Wisconsin last year around the same time of the year and played them pretty tough.
Don't forget Illinois is hosting Western Illinois.
Yeah, I don't think the Leathernecks are going to have that great of a shot at beating the
How
Illini.
about this little quirk? Kansas will have played 2 games before Texas and Ohio State kick off at 11 a.m.
Yeah, they play the week 0 Saturday game,
Yeah.
and then they play
Wagner
Wagner on the Thursday or Friday.
Wagner.
Friday.
Where is-
What network, Joey?
Probably Big 12 now or ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus. 6:30 kickoff in
whatever
a stadium that's going to
yeah.
force me to drive to Lawrence because that stadium looks
Yeah,
great.
it looks
That
beautiful.
stadium looks really, really cool.
Got Rain Man over there.
Oh.
I cannot
He's
believe.
a TV executive.
Hey, who do the Steelers play in Week 14, Joey?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Probably the Lions.
That's good. Hey, that's the
Probably a
default
good
team.
guess.
Hey, side note here, because Love B in Omaha is going to make a major announcement today. So we are still going to be a 2 volleyball town. The Supernovas did something yesterday, and again, I'm maybe you're not the right person to ask, but you are close personal partner, friends of the voice of the Supernovas,
Yeah.
Fran Hansen.
Yeah.
So they merged with a league that I don't think ever existed yesterday
Yes.
to become Major League Volleyball. A $325 million merger or value. Is there a significance to this league coming together?
So
Or is it just the same? I just want my Supernovas. They're really good. They put on a good show. If they're not playing Atlanta or Columbus or Grand Rapids, who cares? As long as the Supernovas are playing. Is this like a big deal?
I think there's supposed
What's
to
Grant
be,
telling you?
I think there's supposed to be some news coming out today from the Supernovas as well.
Oh, are they moving?
I cannot
Whoa.
say anything.
Are they not going to play downtown anymore?
I can't.
They going to play at Baxter?
No.
Oh,
They
okay.
not that. It's not that. I do know that for sure that they're staying in the Chai.
Okay.
They are staying in the
All
Chai.
right.
I was just told I can't fully disclose, but I have been
Well,
told
don't
that
tease
the
it then.
Supernovas have some news that will be coming out today. Have some
Husker?
additional news. I haven't.
Changing their color scheme?
All I
New
was
nickname?
told. Stop, Garrett. All I was told
Is
was
Jason
that,
Derulo going to sing
no,
before every game?
all I was told is that they have some news coming out, and that it might be after our show, and that we might talk.
When
we
do
might
they
be
do-
able to talk about.
Okay,
it on
so this
Wednesday.
is where you have this little conundrum here with volleyball.
And by the way, this is
professional volleyball
not.
in this
I do
town.
want to say this, not from my friend,
Yeah?
not from that friend, not from the voice of the Supernovas. This is from
What was
something
Jeff
different.
telling you?
I
Well, they were teasing that they had news today.
yeah, they do have news today.
But is this their news?
Well, it was released yesterday,
Yeah.
and so
Well, because Love B has a big announcement today.
so I was told yesterday that it was going to be today, that they were going to have some news that have to do. It doesn't have to do with the stadium, so it doesn't have to do with the stadium. It just has to do with.
They're going to do an outdoor match?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Huh?
I have no idea. I just know that I've just been told that there
Harper
might be
Marie
news.
is foregoing her last 2 years of eligibility in
not-
Lincoln to join the
That's
Supernovas?
not
Is
happening.
that what you're saying?
No, but they aren't moving from the Chai.
Okay. I believe Love B, Jordan Larson is going to have a major involvement. And then they
You called
finally, I think today they finally officially announced that Coach Booth
I was gonna say,
in her role of what she is doing. But the two competing professional volleyball leagues in this country and in this town both have announcements today.
yeah, that's what I've been told. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know, man.
That much money and
That's
owning
what
a-
I thought. $325 million.
that's a lot. That could
Like-
buy you an offensive line.
That could buy you a WNBA team.
True.
Like, buy
True.
you an offensive line.
But I think most people are like, just as long as the Supernovas are playing in the same place, I got my schedule. They still have names I can recognize. They put on a really good show. I have fun there. I don't care who they're playing.
You're the type of guy that you don't count in dollars anymore. You count in Elijah Pritchett's. That's 315 Elijah Pritchett's.
You can buy your way into happiness.
Yes, you can. And people who tell you can't, I mean, they're not fully wrong, but they are partially wrong.
Yeah. And then you watch to see if it works before you try it. So
Sure.
we'll sit back and watch Texas Tech.
Like I'm trying to buy a Blackstone grill, like a flat top grill, and I know that my life will just be exponentially more happy if I have it than just not having my Blackstone grill. Like, you're telling me that money enough to buy a boat wouldn't make me happier? It would make me so happy.
A little bit later,
Matt McMaster here for greed.
Brian Christopherson will join us. Andy Kendi as well. I got a thought about what Cincinnati is doing with their week 1 game, and I'm fine with it. I'll explain when we come back. I think it's actually a very smart move what they're doing.
I'm confused. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, your confusion will lead to the break, and then you'll come back, and I will not make you unconfused. along
Can't
with
wait.
Many other people. 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in on a Tuesday, the 5th of August.
Tuesday.
Brian Christopherson going up on a Tuesday. Andy Kendi will get in the club as well in the next hour. You know who's not in the club? Burger Detour. You guys ever go to Burger Detour? They had
No.
2 locations here in Omaha. They were thinking about a third at 120th and L.
No, I haven't been there.
Well, you missed your opportunity because they closed.
Oh, no.
They closed yesterday.
Oh,
And that Burger Theory by the Chuck is still open?
Yes, this is Burger Detour.
No, I know. I'm making a joke that people
Oh.
are never in the Burger
Oh.
Theory, and that's still open. But this Burger Detour is closed.
I don't know how that place stays open. But they weren't really different. They probably expanded a little too soon. Yeah, I went there one time.
Was it
Actually,
good?
you know why I went there?
Why'd you go there?
Because of Isaac Trout.
Because of the former Virginia basketball player transferred to Creighton. Why did you go there? Because
Why'd
of
you start
Isaac
with
Trout?
a former Virginia back?
I was just trying to tell people that I'm a ball knower, and I know that he went to Virginia before he went to Creighton. That was just me like putting in my little tidbits. You do that sometimes too. You put in the little tidbits to know you know.
What was
the
your
extra
favorite part
information.
of his time at Virginia?
I don't remember. My favorite part of his time at Virginia is when he entered the transfer portal and people thought he was going to be a Husker, and then he ended up being a Blue Jay.
My favorite part of Isaac Trout before he got to Virginia was watching him play at Creighton Prep in a state playoff game. And then we all wondered, why is he at Virginia and why is he redshirting? But that was his NIL. Like the local television commercial. He was doing a thing for Burger
really?
Detour.
Burger Theory.
Yeah, wasn't his fault. The product,
Burger Detour.
yeah, the product hit an air ball. Trout hit it like a banker off the backboard from 8 feet away.
He did a Tim Duncan shot in his commercial.
So
is there still one?
They had the quirky,
Well,
they had the quirky looking buildings. No, there's none. They closed.
they closed both of them.
They closed both of them.
It looks
just-
like you ever watch Speed Racer?
Not every hour on the hour.
Okay, but you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like the X Racer, Racer X, and he's got like the yellow and black. That's what this Burger
Yeah.
Detour looks like. It looks like that guy's like racing. Outfit.
Just never took off in Omaha.
It looks nice.
Wow. What is up with our athletes that endorse things? Either the athlete goes into the portal or the business goes into the portal.
I don't think the business is going to the portal. I don't know if Burger Detour is going to show up on the campus of Kentucky.
I don't,
You know, I don't think Burger Detour is going to be the backup of an Arizona burger chain.
the product was bad. Okay. They didn't do
See,
anything different.
Okay, I'm showing you this picture here. This is a shake at Burger Detour.
Mhm.
What does that look like?
Well,
It doesn't look very appetizing.
yeah, you gotta put your eyes away from the logo. Okay. We are almost 3 weeks before Nebraska and Cincinnati play at Arrowhead. And people are wondering, what will this look like? It's a road game. It'll be a neutral site game, but let's be honest, it's a home game.
Yeah.
The more this gets discussed, which this is the COVID game, I don't think Nebraska was ever going to play at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati, because immediately it was like, whoosh, we're on to Lucas Oil.
Mhm.
I mean, Cincinnati had to be a little bit afraid. You
Sure.
haven't sold out your stadium in about 5 years, and you're playing Nebraska, and if you're playing them on campus in a very unique stadium, and maybe they would even have said, hey, let's go over to Paul Brown. But Nebraska fans would have taken over their stadium, and it would have been a bad look. Instead, let's go somewhere else where it's not as bad a look, and we're going to get paid. I don't have a problem with what Cincinnati did, that they are getting paid to move this game closer to Lincoln than to Cincinnati, because this is a day you got to have some money. Now, it might not go well in the locker room, but you got to have some money.
Mhm.
Okay. You might have to buy out your head coach. You got to make a bowl game this year. But you are in the Big 12. You don't get a lot of TV money. You don't get a lot of extra money. Nobody stops by and says, you know what? Here's an extra $1 million. So I don't have a problem with Cincinnati moving it, because I get it.
Well,
You get money, and you wouldn't want this game in Cincinnati where it would be the wrong color of red. Okay, on
Sure.
campus, it's already going to look bad that it's at Arrowhead, but it makes more sense at Arrowhead. In your own stadium, where Nebraska fans, because they've never been there, would overtake it, I get it. I'm okay. Cincinnati, wise move, take the money, and then run. All right, don't mess things up. All right, play the script perfectly. But I think what Cincinnati did, actually, at the end of the day makes perfect sense for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, even if they played it at Lucas Oil Stadium, I don't know. I think it would have been tough potentially filling up 70,000 seats at Lucas Oil for
Yeah.
that game, just because, the travel costs would have been incredibly high for Husker fans to get out there. And it's not, like you mentioned, it's not like Cincinnati has this rabid football fan base that is selling out every single game. I mean, they have something. They've had a lot to cheer for.
I mean, they
the
would
last
have,
couple of
they would
years.
have, so they're already doing, they go away from Cincinnati to do their fall camp.
Yeah.
At the beginning. So they're in the state of Indiana, and Indianapolis is hour 45.
Can I offer you a stupid hypothetical, but it's kind of funny?
Give it to
and
me.
It's not fully out of reach. Cincinnati goes 4-8, 5-7.
Mhm.
Scott Satterfield gets fired.
Mhm.
Wisconsin goes 4-8 this year. The Badgers pulled the plug. Say, hey, you know what, Luke? Sorry, I know that you didn't have the easiest schedule this year, but we still haven't seen the progress we need to see. Luke Fickell goes back to Cincinnati at the end of the season. I'm not saying it's pie in the sky, because I really do think that Wisconsin might be better than people think, and they'll give him another year, because it's incredibly unfair to judge him, I think, fully on the schedule that they're ending up playing. But that'd be a crazy hypothetical. That could happen.
I don't think Luke Fickell's going anywhere.
I don't think,
'Cause-
like I said,
I
don't
think Luke
he's gonna
Fickell is
keep
not
his job.
going anywhere, because
Is that buyout?
how much money do you have in your pocket?
Yeah. How
That's
much is
$40 million.
Whoa.
Okay, Luke Fickell isn't going anywhere. Matt Rule isn't going anywhere.
No.
So this is a good discussion, because there's some very interesting year 3 coaches that you wonder if they'll make it to year 4. Luke Fickell, because of the buyout.
Yeah.
Your coach, your favorite football team in Evanston.
I don't think he can afford going anything worse than 5-7 this year,
Okay, so
because he doesn't get the
then,
grace.
Then doesn't 26 become the go year? But the problem with Northwestern is you're moving into a brand new stadium
Yeah, but
next year. Do you want a guy that's, I don't know, at Northwestern football? Do you ever
But-
get on the hot seat?
But okay, here's the thing. It's not really like that. Like, there aren't people who won't go to games
Okay,
because
so people
David
don't care
Braun.
about football.
Well, I think there are Northwestern football fans, and they go to the games, and there's alumni, and I'm growing up with one of them. Like, there is still interest in the team, but it isn't so much so like, oh my God, I'm not renewing my season tickets because David Braun.
Okay, so
is
they're
hired.
not looking to make a big splash moving
No,
into a new
I
stadium.
don't
If they
think
have
so.
David Braun, they have David Braun.
Honestly, I think the stadium is a way bigger pull, way bigger draw than the actual team and the actual football.
So there is pressure on Scott Satterfield. So he's 25-24 at Louisville. Kind of underwhelming. He's 8-16 at Cincinnati. This is year number 3. They don't make a bowl game. He probably doesn't make it to year number 4.
Yeah.
Now, another very intriguing year 3 guy, Dion. So Dion, they've had growth. They've had success. You cannot deny that. But what if they take a step back? And,
How big of a step back
well, what if they go back to being 5-7?
do you see?
But it's not, Colorado doesn't
Yeah.
want him to go anywhere. I mean, he's a cash cow. But
Well-
does Dion say priorities? Because if you have growth and success from year 1 to year 2, but then you take a step back in year 3, do you charge up and do it again in year 4? So that would be someone that I would say that would be their choice not to make it to year 4.
I was gonna
Now,
say.
one year 3 coach that a lot of people are pointing to that I think may get a little bit of sanity is Hugh Freeze. So they're 10-22.
They are incredibly optimistic as well.
Well,
in Auburn right
he
now.
is. So I think he is. I don't know what he's doing with his quarterback. So Peyton Thorne was a mystery.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold, I'm not sold on, but their offensive line might be one of the better offensive lines that Auburn's had in about a decade. They have some talent, but does he get the grace of somebody at Auburn, and they control the strings there, the boosters? Hey, we've had too much turnover. We can't afford to do this again. If we don't make the playoff, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to bring him back for another year. But he'll be a popular, hey, the revolving door at Auburn, you get in it and then don't come out the other side. But there's like the year 3 guys There's that group of the
Yeah.
Fickles and the Rules and
Yeah.
the Dions and the Hugh Freezes. I'm curious to see who doesn't make it to year 4, because I think the guy in Cincinnati is under a lot of pressure to
So
make it to year 4.
this is a YahooSports.com article. If Freeze is let go by December 1st, 2024, Auburn would owe him $20 million. The buyout at any time is 75% of his remaining base salary, alongside supplemental pay for endorsements and appearances. I think that with Auburn, I don't think this is because LSU. So Brian Kelly's interesting. I know it's not a year 3 guy, but like Brian Kelly's interesting because they've won 10 games and then they won 9. Like they've won 29 games under him. But some people are very critical of what he's done there because they should have the talent to make the college football playoff. And so there would be some people who would think maybe Brian Kelly isn't the guy if LSU doesn't make the CFP this year. I think it's very interesting the awareness Auburn kind of has toward the SEC right now, and the fact that
the awareness.
Well, I would say their fan base has some awareness of the fact that like Texas is going to be incredible this year, and Georgia's going to be really, really good, and I think Alabama, with what they're returning on the defensive end, is going to be awesome too. And so right off the bat, you're fighting an uphill talent battle in terms of you got 3 top teams in the league where you're kind of spot on and in consensus with a lot of the things I've seen in terms of Auburn on social media, which is, okay, hey, if you don't make the playoff, it's not the end all be all, but you definitely need to win 8 or 9 games. You definitely, maybe even win 10 games with a bowl win.
Yeah.
You got to show some progress, but I don't think there's as much pressure on Auburn to be like, okay, you have to contend for a national title. I mean, that will eventually become the discussion over there, because I don't think Auburn at all has that is a program that has taken a massive nosedive.
Well, they made a very, very poor hire before Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
Who just did not fit. And I wouldn't work at Auburn. I mean, you have your boss is not in control of you.
It's the boosters who are in control of you. And I also too, how many teams are looked at as fondly as maybe Auburn is in terms of a job to have, but is very clearly the second best team in the state, and very clearly the second best.
There's a lot of money there. Like for the right person, there's a lot of money at Auburn. That's the thing. Like Auburn's in the SEC.
Yeah.
Auburn has a history.
No.
Auburn's won a national championship.
No, you're right. But
So,
I mean, you did. I mean, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It's a tough
attractive.
job.
It's attractive. Well, there's a lot of tough jobs, but that's a very attractive job.
No, I know. I agree. But I'm just saying there aren't too many jobs that are that attractive where you're just clearly the second best program in the state that you're trying to recruit.
Here is Andrew. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, boys. How we doing?
Good, Andrew. Hey, your buddy is back.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Matt. What's up?
I'm doing good, man.
How are you
Nice and
doing?
well rested. Had a great vacation. How are you? How's everything going with you? I haven't talked to you in a while.
I go back to school tomorrow. It's kind of sad.
I know.
Yeah, good luck.
State of affairs. Hey, do you think Dion will have the same passion to coach with his kids gone?
He hasn't shown otherwise. Like, I don't.
Do you think the reason he passed on NFL coaching jobs because his kids, and maybe now, if he has a decent year and his kids are gone, he'll bolt Colorado?
I don't know if he passed on NFL coaching jobs, if I'm being honest. I don't think I think that was a lot of smoke. I don't think that was those were actual valid rumors that he was going to end up coaching in the NFL. I don't know. I think that Dion has always been, like, obviously he loves his kids, but it's always been a legacy thing for Dion and building his legacy in any type of aspect that he's been in. And I think that this is like the ultimate legacy building year for him because of the questions you ask, right? Like, can he do it without Shador? Can he do it without Travis Hunter? Can he actually build sustainable college football success as a head coach?
And one more thing. If you're going to buy a Blackstone grill, just buy a Weber. You should always buy a Weber with a insert that has a Blackstone similar insert you could put into it.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that into consideration.
And then you have the best of both worlds.
I'll take that into consideration. I don't think I need a Weber grill, and Weber grills do run pretty expensive, Andrew. I'm just more so looking for just my flat top grill that I can make my, eggs and sausage on in the morning.
You might as well do that in the kitchen. I don't get it.
Yeah. He lives in an apartment,
I don't know.
Oh.
so that probably precludes him a little bit. Andrew, thanks for the phone call.
It's a small kitchen. I appreciate you defending me there.
Oh, I mean, it's not like you're going for the big old Blackstone.
No.
Blackstones cost a little bit more than Weber's.
Blackstones are like $250 to $300 is what I've seen. $200 to $300. It depends on like what the type is. But Weber, I don't know. When he says Weber grill, I immediately think of like the 4-burner, like really big Weber grill that costs an exuberant amount of money.
Do you have a balcony?
No, we have a patio. Yes, we have a place to put it.
So
have
does the patio go out to like a ground level or?
Yeah, it's a ground level.
You live on a ground level apartment?
I do, yeah, with no windows.
Ooh.
Wow.
No windows in my
room. It was
room.
bad when I lived off of
It is-
9th Street in Lincoln. I was a below ground apartment.
I was below ground in my first
Ooh.
apartment. I had water seeping through.
Oh no, we don't have that. It's a nice room. It's a nice area.
Oh, it's a nice complex.
Yeah. No, it's very, but we are ground. I wish we were on the second floor because
It's
I
nice.
would like to have the balcony. Like I would
Yeah.
like to have that, like over, sit out there, smoke a cigar, like have
It's
a beer.
nice.
But I actually do love living on the first floor because I don't have to worry about the stairs or like the elevators or anything like that. Like I just get in and I walk to my room. It's nothing better. But it's no windows is getting tougher. It's so hard to wake up in the morning. It's just
Like
so
how many windows do you have in your place? Like 1 or 2?
I have a screen door, like a glass door,
Yeah.
and then one window that has a dent in it from Creighton baseball players playing football in our patio area.
Hey, by the
And-
way, you're going to have almost all the Creighton athletes are living in your complex.
Really?
Yeah, because the dorms are packed.
Okay. So there were so many cars in the parking lot yesterday, like more than I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And I was so confused. I was like, I thought school doesn't start for another 3 weeks. What the hell are all these people doing here?
So you only have 2 windows in your
So
entire
I have
place?
2 windows, and then there's a window in another room too, but I don't go in that room a lot. So there's just 2 windows.
That's rough.
Oh, it's hard to wake up.
Yeah, you're in
It's
solitary confinement. I get it.
It's not. It's still nicely decorated, and I have couches and tables and hung
Oh,
up
we heard.
jerseys, and I brought some flags from home that we're gonna. My room, my
Like
apartment,
flags of countries?
my apartment looks like Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, it really does look like a Buffalo Wild Wings. We have
So basically it looks like a 23-year-old bachelor pad.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hung up jerseys. There's a signed football that's like
Do you
on
have
a mantle.
Do you have a
There's
beer pong table?
I do have a beer pong table, but that's in my closet. So if we
You don't have that
people over,
out?
no, why would I
Ooh.
have that out?
Because that's what it's supposed to be.
It
You're
would-
supposed to have that at all time.
I'm-
And then you throw stuff on it. Yeah,
No.
you and then
Well-
when it's time to play, you clear it off.
That's just the kitchen table. The
That's the
kitchen
only time
table is
you
there.
clean.
Like I have an actual table where I eat my food. Like all that stuff goes there. The beer pong table is like, oh, we have people over. Let me bring it on out. And I unfold the table. It was like $50 to get a foldable table at Target. Why are you laughing at me?
Because you realizing what things cost.
Well, I had bought a
I
foldable
can't
table.
believe that gas is $3.23 a gallon.
Well, it's more than that. It's 4. It's crazy for me. It's got to put the premium. Got to put the premium in the car so the engine doesn't misfire.
All right, we're gonna get out of this conversation. Brian Christopherson coming up at the top of the hour. They are replaying on the Big Ten Network the Nebraska-Wisconsin volleyball match.
This is from 2 years ago, though.
Yeah,
Because they're
that
both
was
undefeated.
a banger.
That's the
Of
only
a match. There is so much talent on the floor, and it also reminds you again of some of the people that sit in the front row at the Devaney.
only Nebraska volleyball game I've ever been to.
Was this one?
Was this one?
Uh,
And I told people I love the team. I don't think I can go back. Like it's just never gonna get better. than that
oh,
moment.
Sarah Franklin. All right, we're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right. I know Josh Odson grunts the schedule. You guys want to do whatever you do, the equivalent of a grunt when I give you the NBA on Christmas schedule?
Yes.
Ooh. We got that already.
This is Shams said this is what the schedule will be. The opener, because they always host at the Garden, Detroit and the Knicks.
Ugh.
Ew.
Okay.
I like it.
You don't have to grunt. You can make any sound, any
Oh,
guttural sound
okay.
that you would like.
Okay.
Cleveland at Boston.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. The Lakers at Dallas.
No,
Ugh. Yuck.
Whoa.
I hate that. They're just forcing.
Luka.
You're just
I
forcing.
don't
stuff.
like the
Luka.
Lakers.
You're
Flag.
forcing stuff. It's such a.
80
It's such a.
Braun.
It's such a clickbait eye roll. Luka returns. Whatever. No, thank you.
80 against his former team.
San Antonio at Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Meh. Because
Okay.
it's interesting with the Wembanyama being on national television.
De'Aaron Fox just got
and that
paid
and
yesterday.
that team will be
Warriors.
competitive, but I think that is it at Oklahoma City?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Thunder's they're gonna win that game by 13.
Okay. Bold prediction, well ahead of Christmas. Houston at Golden State rounds out the slate.
Yes.
That's a good end.
Yes. I love the former players, the rivalries, the trades. I mean, that's interesting. Like this is a theme now a little bit in terms of like, this is what we're just drama-filled matchups. I do think the Dallas Lakers thing, it's kind of forced, but Houston Golden State would be a good game.
Okay.
I think why can't the Bulls be on the,
Because they stink.
Thank you. All
right, moving
Just
on.
cut right to it. Hey, no wasting of words. Good job, Joey.
No, Matt. I want to see them good.
Fred
too.
Hoiberg
But it's
has-
just because they stink.
Fred Hoiberg has more playoff victories than Billy Donovan has.
Yeah.
It's amazing he's still coaching.
Well, the reason why they kept him is because he's a professional and Billy isn't going to cause any problems.
Should have kept Vinny Del Negro.
Okay. No, we shouldn't have. That's one of your worst takes ever.
Look at his playoff record.
Yeah. I'm sure they went 41-41 and won 2 games against the Boston Celtics in 2008. I think that's what happened.
Okay,
I was too
so
young.
that fivesome of NBA games
They're a solid slate. It's a solid slate.
compared to Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, Broncos, Chiefs.
They're not going to make a dent. The NBA is
Well,
obviously not going to make a dent.
Here's the thing. Like, yes, I'm obviously going to watch the football over the basketball, but the basketball does have better matchups.
I think the last matchup
Whoa.
is probably the
Yeah.
best out of the 5. And the good news is they'll be on super late. All the NFL games. Should be
No.
done by then.
I'm
Those-
just saying Cleveland versus Boston.
Well, you
will
don't
be
have
a very
Jason,
good
you don't have
matchup.
Jason Tatum.
Who's
in that
playing
game.
for Boston?
But still, the Boston guys,
You guys
let's
get
not throw a pity party for the
Jaylen
Celtics.
Brown,
They're
Derek
still
White,
a very good team.
Gorgeous Niang.
Oh,
They got Anthony Simons
Hold
on
on.
there
Yeah,
now.
that's
too.
true. That's true.
Anthony Simons
the
is gonna
three
be a
Christmas
really-
Day games are all division games, and they all could have playoff implications. Cowboys,
So-
Commanders.
Okay, so the
Lions,
Commanders are going to be a
Vikings,
heavy
The
favorite.
Broncos Chiefs game could be to decide the AFC West.
So that could be a competitive game. I'm not necessarily all in on the Broncos. Okay. I'm not. I know that some people are. I know
You
that some
should.
people love them. I'm not all in. I think they're a fine team. But I've never liked we do this now in the NFL with certain coaches where it's like their quarterback is obviously inferior, but because they've now they've dumbed everything down to the lowest form that
Mhm.
the quarterback is like usable. That's kind of what Bo Nix and Sean Payton have become. Like it's like Sean is so smart, he's going to make everything so easy on Bo. Well, he makes everything so easy on Bo because he obviously can't do the things that the 10 best quarterbacks do in the league. But it's still
So you would take Houston at Golden State over Denver, Kansas City?
I'm talking about I'd rather watch all of the football games. Okay? But I'm just saying in terms of like how competitive some of the games could end up being. Right? Like I don't think the Commanders-Cowboys game is going to be very competitive. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be good this year. I think the Commanders will probably be very similar with a worse record to what they had last year. I think Minnesota and Detroit, we'll see where those teams are at that point because I really do think it's a tough. I think looking at Detroit, is a really tough. Like, I don't know where they're going to be. I don't know what they're going to do. They have a very tough schedule. They've lost both coordinators. They've lost, and also too, not just coordinators. The interior of their offensive line, which has been the strength of that team, is gone now. And Minnesota has had a very sneaky, very quiet, good offseason. But you got J.J. McCarthy as your quarterback, and I can't tell you. I don't have a crystal ball.
Probably better than Caleb.
It helps if when
He's
you have
not. You
Kevin
can't
O'Connell as
say
your
that he's
head
probably better
coach.
than Caleb. He hasn't. He played one preseason game and tore his ACL or did something with his knee. Was it MCL, Joey? I think it was his MCL.
Something like
He
that.
was
But
27-1 in college, won a national championship.
Because he had Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards running behind one of the best offensive lines that college football has ever seen.
Didn't Caleb Williams have some nice weapons?
Yeah, but Caleb Williams won a Heisman. Caleb Williams won a Heisman. J.J. McCarthy didn't.
McCarthy's in a better
JJ
system in the NFL than Caleb Williams.
Nobody's
is right
complaining
now.
that.
J.J.
Nobody's
McCarthy won a
complaining.
national championship.
Nobody's arguing. Okay, back to you. J.J. McCarthy was the fifth quarterback taken in his draft. Okay, Caleb Williams was bona fide number one, no doubt. Okay, Caleb Williams is a way better prospect than J.J. McCarthy was. All right, now over to you. Yeah, of course, if you have Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison, and Aaron Jones, and a really good offensive line with Kevin O'Connell as your coordinator, you're going to be in a better system.
Yep.
It's the best system in the league. That's not a hot take. I'm just saying the competitiveness of the Christmas games will probably be more so competitive there than you would in the NFL games, even though I'm definitely going to be watching the football games over the Christmas games. Because I would much rather watch a 34-3 football game than watch,
How many guys do you think in the
regular season
24
NBA.
NFL draft are better than Caleb Williams? Bo Nix.
You can't. We cannot do this
Jaden
with
Daniels.
Eberfloozer and with
obviously
with
there's
Shane
Jaden
Waldron.
Drake May. Drake May has the potential. Like Drake May's look
He
great
might
in
have
training camp, Joey.
He might have a breakout season
Yeah.
for the Patriots.
Did you see?
He's my keeper. I'm
Hey,
keeping him in
Did
fantasy
you
football.
see Penix almost beat Washington in Washington? Didn't the Bears play in Washington last year?
Do you know that? Yeah, they did. They won that game. If I'm not mistaken, they won that game.
The Bears did?
They won that game.
They did?
Yeah, they won that game.
Let me ask Google. Did the Bears win in Washington?
They won that game. I don't.
Washington last year. I just
I'm pretty sure that game was famously only 59 minutes and
Um,
48
okay.
seconds. If I'm not
AI
mistaken.
tells me yes, the Bears played the Commanders last year during week 8, but the Commanders won on indescript Daniels to Noah Brown touchdown.
I just hate that I was driving home when that happened because
Yeah.
I saw the
Yeah.
I saw the score and I'm like, oh, the Bears are gonna win. Gonna go drive home now. Then that happened. I showed up at home. I get a bunch of text messages from my Viking friends saying,
Guess who had to cut up the highlights? Then they were used nationally.
Oh, and you didn't know that they lost that game?
No, I'm the one who had to cut up all the highlights so
Oh.
ESPN could have Joniak over on their airwaves.
Yeah. I mean, your quarterback will work out. I'm sure it will. Always does.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, let's be real. Okay, no emotion here.
I should
Just
just
throw the
you know
football
what?
into
I
the
should
net.
adopt a
No, you
NFC
shouldn't. Stop it. Stop it. Please stop it.
Why
Do
don't I
not-
grab
don't-
an NFC North team?
Why?
I mean, I got the
grab
Packers
me.
here,
Grab my team.
The Bears. I got a Viking guy coming up next. Maybe I will represent Detroit Lions.
You know I can't stand that team. That would be insane. If you came back, it'd be really funny if you came back every Monday and you were wearing like Detroit stuff.
Ooh.
Like how I wear.
I think Honolulu blue would look good on me. It would match my eyes.
I think it looked terrible on you. I think you look good in red. That's what I think. You look good in red and yellow. Just keep wearing those colors. Don't worry about. Hey, you worry about your division. I worry about my division. Okay. Okay. Capiche? Capiche. I don't need you. I don't need you with rooting interest in the NFC.
I feel like
North.
I'm lost here. I can't engage in
You
the
are not.
conversation.
What do you mean you're lost? You root for the team that has won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5
But we
years.
lost our last Super Bowl,
Do you know what
and we
I-
might lose our wide
do you
receiver
know-
for 4
do
games.
you know what I would do to get to a Super Bowl? We've talked
Shave
about
the mustache?
We've talked about self-mutilation.
Draft a better quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater, was he not available before he decided to go to Tampa Bay as their backup yesterday?
I don't want Teddy Bridgewater.
Tampa Bay does. Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
good
Did they
odds
sign
to win
him?
the Super Bowl. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater's back in the NFL. All right, Brian Christopherson is back on Gary and Matt. That is happening next on 1620 The Zone. All right. 3/4 of the show now is fans of the NFC North. Mr. Viking, Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 joins us. Good morning, BC.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How is your quarterback going to be? Because it's all of a sudden turned into a raucous affair here in studio. I got a Packer fan and a Bear fan fighting, and I'm standing up for J.J. McCarthy. How has J.J. McCarthy looked in training camp? Completing passes, accuracy, all that kind of stuff?
There was negative feedback early on, but then I think it was like Friday or Saturday. The buzz was that JJ had found it. JJ was probably going to take us to a Super Bowl.
Jesus.
So the one of the end zones for the Super Bowl will be painted purple. So I would get on that bandwagon.
He found it. Found what? A quarter in his back
he
pocket?
Found it, man.
He found
I just saw a couple posts on X that got me thinking, I was sort of leaning toward 8-9, 9-8, now 14-3 probably. So I did make a big leap over a couple days. I will grant you that.
First off, Brian, I don't know if you've been listening to the show, but Gary has been stirring the pot like Betty Crocker over here for the last hour and a half. And now that you have given him information that J.J. McCarthy is doing well, you're just adding ammo to his firing at the Bears. So look, I'll tell you what I've been telling everybody else. The reports don't matter. It doesn't matter if your quarterback is missing targets or throwing hissy fits or throwing interceptions or not understanding your new coach's offense, right? It's just all about what happens in week 1 on Monday in Chicago between the Vikings and the Bears.
Yeah.
I think the Bears will win that game.
Me too.
Even when the Vikings are good and the Bears suck, that turns into like a 16-13 maybe Vikings win. And so with the uncertainty of QB starting a first game on Monday night, I kind of favor the Bears myself.
You are referencing the Monday night game where there was one touchdown and the Bears won by kicking all field goals.
It feels like I was kind of referencing, I think, like every Vikings Bears game at Soldier Field. It's just sort of a ugly affair. You shouldn't really let your children watch it, honestly.
Well, my parents going to get that memo.
Yeah. I think the Bears are going to be tougher. It's a tough division. Everybody in the NFC North got like a top 7, top 8 schedule because of who they're matched up with in the AFC and everything. So it's going to be. I think the winner of the NFC North is going to be like 11-6. That's what I think.
Let me sink in a little basketball here, and then we can go back to breaking down the NFC North. If Rink Mast returns to where he was the last time we saw him, 3rd team All Big Ten, leading Nebraska in scoring and rebounding and giving you 3 assists a game, what does that mean for this current group around him and the team as a whole?
Well, I mean, it just spaces the floor so well for him. I mean, I think you saw last year when they hit basically 100 less 3-pointers during the regular season from the year before, that teams didn't really have to respect more than a couple lasers, as you would say, who could knock them down from the outside. And so Fred is, I think, kind of banking on the idea. He's got a roster now where he feels like they can actually put five guys out there who can all, at least give you a threat from the outside. That's going to open up, I think, remember 2 years ago, all those back cuts and stuff with K-State, and he got really good at it. You can find guys who can feed off Rink that way because you're going to pull the bigs away from the basket if you have some guys like Rink who are, 6'10", who can stroke it. So I think it's an ultra big deal. I mean, the biggest thing about Rink, though, is not just that he has the threat to shoot it. He actually is a really good facilitator. Like, you trust him with the basketball. It doesn't seem like it's a hot potato, like when he gets it, you think something good can happen. And so I'm sure he's got to knock rust off over the next month or two. This is going to be, it was a tough journey, a whole year out. So we'll see how he can come back from it, but it was promising. And I think probably a big lift to have him back on the court. And he's a talker. He's a talker out there. And this team last year was not as talkative, and that matters when you're sort of going through some lulls during a game, to have those guys that can kind of get you back up.
So yesterday it was announced that the tournament won't be expanded for the 2025-2026 season. I think we're all still kind of in agreement. It's going to happen at some point, but it just won't happen immediately. Do you think that this is potentially might be a bit of a trend of the powers that be recognizing, hey, we have made a lot of decisions that have made a lot of people unhappy and not like certain aspects of our sports and how we run things. Maybe we just throw them a bone and don't make this bad decision for a little bit.
Maybe there's some of that. I mean, I would hope just in basketball's case, they look at it and say, we have an event that every year, whether you watched one college basketball game or not during the season, draws you to the table and you're interested in it. And it's for, and not that would go away if you had like 96 teams, people would still fill out the brackets and all that stuff. But it feels like the perfect number to me right now to still have those arguing points about sort of good teams who didn't quite make it. And I think if you get to a point where you get, it is like a 96 team tournament or something at some point, you're in an area where you're letting a lot of stuff in the door that probably shouldn't be as far as on the bracket. So I hope they keep that thing at around 68 as for another decade at least. I'm not overly optimistic, but you might be right, Matt. There might be some of that in both sports where it's like, let's just slow it down a notch. Everything's been going warp speed with all these discussions. Let's take a step back for a little bit at least before we make a bold move like that.
Hey, how deep do you think they could go, and shifting to football, how deep do you think they could go at wide receiver and they're still comfortable with the guys they have on the field to make plays and know what they're doing?
I mean, right now, I think you could say it's a solid like 4 or 5, but it has the potential to be like 8. And it's one thing to make a couple flash plays like on a Saturday night in an open scrimmage. And so I'm not knocking the guys who did that. Like, I think it's awesome that like Keelan Smith and Quinn Clark and Jeremiah Jones can push the conversation. I think they're going to help. I think Quinn Clark is a really good athlete. But if you said, like, who's the guy, like, right now you'd say can go out and produce and you'd feel, like, ultra confident about it, I'd probably put the list at, like, 4 to 5 guys. And then there's that chance that those other 3 guys or so could show, hey, I belong here too, and I can make plays when it counts. So no question, though, that the conversation about wide receiver depth is, I feel, way more real than it has been in past seasons. And we've kind of tried to talk ourselves into it in past off seasons that it could get to 6 to 8 deep where you felt like those guys can really make plays. And then I always say this, you get to like November and there's like, 2 or 3 guys you really trust. I think they can move on beyond that. What was encouraging to me Saturday was Dane Key was in a yellow jersey, very cautionary thing, and wasn't out there, and you still felt like, oh, they got some guys who can make stuff happen. And Isaiah Hunter really caught my eye too, and I know he's kind of come on, at the end of spring and carried that over into the camp, I think.
When you look at the top 3 wide receivers, Dane Key, Isaiah Hunter, and Ja'Cory Barney, and then you look at the top 3 tight ends, Harburg, Lyndon Meyer, and Carter Nelson, which group do you think has the higher upside in terms of potential?
Probably the receivers this year. If you wanted to include like what Carter Nelson can be like over the next 2 to 3 years, maybe you'd say the tight ends, because I think he can be just a top level college football player. But he's going to be on that path of building to that this season.
Sure.
So for the years of 2025, I would say the receivers, just because, first off, Key has more proven data than any of the other tight ends do. Like Lyndon Meyer's been I'm a big Lyndon Meyer fan. I talk about it every week. But, Key has the data. And I think even Isaiah Hunter and Ja'Cory Barney, you would say, have, in a small sampling from last year, put up seasons that a lot of receivers that have come through this program we've talked about maybe having, but they never have. Those guys actually did it last year, Hunter at Cal and Barney at Nebraska. And so I just think there's already some proof there. And I think they've kind of fed off each other and aren't satisfied with it. Ja'Cory Barney, we've had this discussion on the show in previous months. It's like, man, we're kind of quiet about Ja'Cory, right? Like, we're talking about the transfers and all these other guys. It does feel like the Barney chatter is picking up steam, and people are like, okay, yeah, he's still going to be like one of the best weapons this team has. And then he just has that confidence, which you kind of gravitate toward. Like, I love the fact that he got up and said, I'm going to lead the country in punt return yardage. I mean, I know some people are like, come on, we all the time around Nebraska, it's talk. But I think they do need a little of that, that swagger where, like, whatever's passed is passed. I expect to make plays. He's always had that confidence. When he was a recruit coming in, he said, I'm going to play right away. He did. He believes in Mike Eckler's, special teams units and what they've got going. I just like the way he's made his makeup and like how he handles himself. So I think I'd go with receivers to answer your question when you think about those three guys: Key, Hunter, Barney.
And then the thing about wide receivers, like if you and seeing a little bit more of them on Saturday night, their future at that position is really bright. But one name that in this discussion, and I mean, he's been a receiver, fullback, tight end, receiver, all around great guy, looks great in pads, gets to play periodically. Where on this roster with the pass catchers does Bonner fit in?
Just as a guy who will do whatever you ask him for that given week. Like, okay, this is our matchup where we can take advantage. This is your niche for this week, and he can fit into it. And I think there's a great use for that. And for people paying attention at the end of last year, you kind of picked up on guys that Holgerson just really liked a lot right off the bat. And Bonner was one of those guys. Now, he did have I think it was the Wisconsin game where he had like a fumble or something, and they took him out. And so he paid a little price for that. But he's one of those guys where he just brushes that off. Like, he's he came in as a Mickey Joseph recruit, and there's a lot of reasons why a guy like him actually wouldn't still be at the University of Nebraska, but he's still here. And I think is a very accepting guy of whatever it takes to help the team. And sometimes you hear that about a lot of different guys, and it's partially true. I think that's fully true with Bonner. I just think he's a team guy, and like, I do think he's getting better as a receiver. It sounds like working with Shorts and those guys on some of the intricacies of the position, but just the fact that you could put him in the backfield, that he will, I think, be one of their best blockers, like on the perimeter, as when you try to turn short passes into explosives. That's huge. And so that's why when you talk about the receivers as a whole, are they deeper? We named the top three guys, but Bonner's right there. And then you got Cortez Mills, and then you got the three younger guys we mentioned. And that's a nice foundation a couple weeks from this season.
Brian, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I do this often with you. Who's leading the team in sacks this season?
I'm thinking about it.
Is it a concern that that's a tougher question to ask?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think they have to. I'm not saying that like they've. It's a definite that they're going to be awesome. I think they've got to answer the bell. Why it's a tough question is your mind goes toward like McCullough or McGahee first off, maybe. But I do think there's going to be some aggression on John Butler's part that is going to free up a guy from the second level, like a more natural linebacker to possibly be that guy. Like, I could see Vincent Shavers, like, by the end of the year being up there. Javen Wright could be a guy who is up there. So I think you could put about 4 or 5 names into it. I guess on the spot, I'll say, as sort of maybe an upset pick, I'll say Willis McGahee. McCullough is probably the easier name to throw out there, but I'm just kind of believing that Willis McGahee with more reps is going to get a lot done, because he actually did do quite a lot with very limited sample size last year. And so I think he's going to be in that mix. I'd be surprised if he's not.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 joining us. So later this morning, early afternoon, the defensive coordinator will speak. The defensive back coach will speak. Some players will speak. And I hope that, not as a question, but maybe from the DC, he brings up a guy who, if you were there on Saturday night, definitely looks the part, and you look for him because he's got a long name on the back of his jersey when they start playing. But you look at his body size and you go, man, if Nebraska can get something out of the guy that's wearing 96, what is your expectations for Winneri? Because watching him with his mates on Saturday, BC, I mean, he looks every part of what a defensive and an edge rusher should look like. He's 6'7", he's probably 270, but he also carries around the tag of, hey, there goes that 5-star guy. But in his first year here, leaving Missouri, where he didn't play a lot, what are your realistic expectations? And then maybe compare that to what you think Nebraska's are for him.
My expectations are that he doesn't have to have the pressure of the world on him, and that's a good thing. Just be solid and do your job, and his natural traits will, along the way, allow him to have some flash plays. So, I think the mental part's a big part. And also, can he hold up like in the Big Ten in your first year where if he does get sizable snaps, there's always that question of like, do you have what it takes in this league that first year to go beyond like 12 to 15 snaps per game? I'm not sure if he's there yet or not. I really don't know. The top 4 on the D line, I still think, are Keona, Lenhart, Judy, and Van Poppel. And but that's the good thing about this conversation. And you've heard John Butler talk about it, how he likes some of these transfer guys at each level that are going to help. And so you would think Winneri's one of those guys. But the beauty of it is, I don't think we've talked about those type of players this off season like we have some past, where it's like, this guy's got to hit, like he's got to be like in the rotation and all that sort of stuff. And so that's a good way to enter the season. Like, so I like Keona Davis, honestly, is the guy, if you say who on the D line that entering his second year, you're like, man, he could really pop. I kind of would name him first off, but Williams Winneri, you're right. Like, just like his body type and all the traits and he has everything in the toolkit. It's just a matter of, I think, consistently getting a little better each day and knowing I don't have to do it all right away. Just like, I've got guys around me that can help, and that's a useful thing for him. And also, he has that background with Coach Mosey and stuff. I think that this setup and culture has been really good for him.
Yeah, I like what you said at the beginning of the answer to that question is, in Missouri, everybody knew him because they saw him in high school. Everybody knows him here because that's a second chance. That's a big pickup. But he definitely looks the part. But I hope that Nebraska makes the transition to their high-end guys stay high-end guys when they get here. He was really good in high school. He hasn't flashed yet in college, but this is the second chance. It's basically starting over. But if they can keep the high-end guys, then that would be a great step in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, if you see him, I guess to go back to it, if he has that type of year where, no, he's not like the first guy you'd name on that defensive line, maybe at the end of the season, but you said, man, remember that play he had this game at the end of September, this one in October, and by the end of it, he's stacked up enough where you're like, man, I'm pretty pumped about what 26 is going to be. I'm not to say he can't get a lot done this year. I'm just saying, if he has that sort of season where at least he has some of those plays where it's just there, you're like, okay, he's actually put it on film now at the college level. And now with one more off season, think about what that's going to be. I would consider that a really good season for a guy who's just in his second year on the D line. It's tough to make a lot of plays that early in your career at that position. So if you can make some, that's a really good sign.
I agree. Great conversation as always. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.
CBC.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. And John Butler speaks today, with or without a hat?
For sure with. I don't think his hair is awful. Like, I do respect that
he's a man bun guy last year.
He's got a lot of letty in the back. Lot of lettuce flying. He looks good with a hat on. I think he should stick with the hat. I also am curious to see what he says about the defensive line and Phil Snow. That's kind of, I'm more worried about that.
What's he going to say about Phil Snow?
Hate
that guy.
No.
Rule made a mistake. That guy's always looking over my shoulder. He's always out there. He's louder than I am. He's more active than I am. That guy's got to go.
I would just want to hear
I
a
need
little
a Carolina Panther him.
for a guy who has the title of associate like head coach, Phil Snow. I want to hear more than he's working with the young defensive backs. You know, we
Well-
just haven't talked about him as much. I think he was going to be a really big deal.
Talked about him a lot.
No,
He's huge.
I know you have. I know you have, which is why I'm bringing it up. I know you have. But I'm just saying, in general, like the remaining of the media.
You're
the
an
remaining
asker of a questioner. You can ask that question.
I may or may not go today. I've got to see.
All right. You might want to change that shirt if you do go.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of etiquette, which is why I'm debating.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back. Andy Kendi still to come before the hour is over. It's Gary and Matt with King Joey on 1620 The Zone. Must be State Fair time because we're playing some ZZ Top. And you can go and see ZZ Top at your favorite state fair, wherever it might be.
Oh, was that a joke? I thought ZZ Top was actually performing at a state fair near us in the Nebraska
That's where they
State Fair.
typically would perform
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah. Not every state fair is this time of the year. In Florida, it's in February.
I went to my local like Chicago suburb fair, the Lincolnwood Fest, over the weekend. It is incredible, the melting pot of people that go to those things. It's either really, really young, really, really young, like 10 to 18,
Okay.
or it's like middle age 45 to like 65. Like millennials, I don't think they mess with the state fairs. Like I don't think they mess with those types of fests.
The Iowa State Fair starts at the end of the week. Iowa
Usually
State Fair is the great state fair, and then you go to Minnesota, the two best state fairs around here.
So you've been to the Minnesota State Fair? I take it. I hear nothing.
Got to get a
but incredible
bucket of
things.
cookies when you walk in.
Dude, I watch that YouTube video all the time at night when they're that cookie stand and they're just scooping all those cookies and it's all gooey into the
It goes
bucket.
straight from Iowa to Minnesota. CBS Sports has just come out with their rankings of all 136 teams.
Ooh,
We will begin with 136 and work our way backwards.
Akron.
We will fast forward to Cincinnati is 52nd. Nebraska is 35th.
Where is
Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. Notre Dame with a quarterback question. And who's playing wide receiver is at 6, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami. Who's playing offense at Miami?
that's so I saw the AP coaches poll yesterday.
Akron's 134. There's
Who's
136 that are ranked.
Where's Houston Christian?
FBS.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the AP poll yesterday, coaches poll yesterday, and it dawned upon me that like 9 of the top 18 teams have some sort of serious quarterback questions to be answered this season, whether it be brand new guy, coming in, hasn't really played before, or just like, hey, this guy has some potential, but we don't really know if it's gonna work out. Like even all the way down to Bama, like they got Ty Sampson, former 5-star recruit. He's been there for 4 years, but he, has been behind NFL quarterbacks now for the last couple of years. And then Tennessee's got a quarterback issue. Notre Dame's got a quarterback, question that has to be answered. Tennessee has one too.
It's good to have a returning quarterback.
Even Oregon, you can make the argument that Oregon's got a serious question at quarterback because Dante Moore did play football at UCLA, and Dante Moore was not good.
I wouldn't say a serious question.
Okay, question though.
That offensive coordinator will be.
Yes,
he will fix him.
But Dante Moore also was. I mean, Chip Kelly was his coach. It's not like he had a Jamoke calling plays for him at UCLA. Now the difference in talent, the difference in talent between Oregon and UCLA is tenfold. So but I'm still bringing up the point. This isn't supposed to be, I'm crapping all over Oregon because I'm really not. It's just it's quite incredible that the turmoil you kind of see at the quarterback position amongst the top teams in the country.
I think Moore didn't play a ton behind Gabriel, but at least he got on the field last year. Which I don't know. I don't have that concern because I think he had pedestrian numbers, and UCLA's offense will be much different in Oregon's offense. I thought of something going back to in the first hour. Mike Flood, the congressman from Nebraska, had a town hall in Lincoln yesterday at Kimball Hall. Yeah, it was very animated.
The tweets from it are incredible.
So I'm advocating that Troy Dannon have a town hall. Or Marcus Blossom or Adrian Dow. I thought of two things with Nebraska. They're going to have to be really, really good with their messaging when they roll out their stadium plan. Because
it's a lot of money.
On campus, they have to cut $27.5 million by the end of 2025. Okay? Now, athletic department, self-supporting, it's a standalone. But there's the optics of, hey, the Big Ten's we're going to get $82.7 million per team from our TV contract. Oh, you got to cut $27.5 million? How you roll that out, because there will be on your campus some backlash, even though, hey, that's not coming out of the university budget. We are on our own. We've raised that money, but they're going to have to roll it out. So it's not just a firestorm, because there's a lot of people on campus that are like ticked off as we got to cut money again. We had 20 million. Now it's up to 27.5 million. The other thing, and if you were doing a town hall, there might be, some academic people there that get at you a little bit. Also, let me propose this question. What if one day the marching band at Nebraska just disappeared?
It would be a catastrophe. It'd be a catastrophe. I know probably from a cost perspective.
This is all
and
hypothetical, by the way. This is not in the plans, but the
it'd be terrible.
engagement of the band and the value of the band, I think, has gone down, unfortunately, in the last 4 to 5 years. There's a big hubbub out there. So Nebraska's band will not be in Cincinnati. It actually is Cincinnati's home game. It would seem like that would be the closest place to travel, but I don't think the band travels to road games as much as they did in the past.
Well, wasn't there a big hubbubaloo about how they were where they were staying in New York and like everything that was rolled out, and it was like a very quick trip or cost. I remember seeing that the trip that they made out to the Pinstripe Bowl was very much a cost-effective one.
Yeah, they didn't have a parade, so they didn't have to be there early.
But I think that it would be an absolute nightmare, and there would be a lot of people that are upset. And also too, Gary, how can you have college football without a band?
I agree.
I agree.
You can't. It would kill high school marching bands in the state of Nebraska. I hope this is never the case. But, I mean, look at the involvement of music in that stadium.
Oh, no, it's not.
We like the canned music, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. The band isn't necessarily like Auburn's band where it's like leading.
Which is very much a Southern thing where the band is such an integral part.
Yeah.
Like before, during, halftime, all of that kind of stuff.
It's not like that. It's a lot of, aux chord and music and stand up and shout. And, it's Nate Rohr being like, it's third down, and everybody. Like, it just seems like there are other conductors of like the atmosphere of the game outside of the band. And, there are definitely, there are some people in the media who were in marching band who are pretty critical of the current marching band.
Who's in media that was in the marching band?
Josh Peterson and Grant Hansen both very much are critical.
Critical. Oh, I thought they were in the band.
No, but they know marching band judge. Oh no, they weren't in the Nebraska marching band. But I've been told
that'd be incredible if both of those guys were in the band.
I have no idea like what a good marching band is or what a bad marching band is, and whether or not like Nebraska marching band is good.
Texas A&M.
I do know that Nebraska is not at the level of
State.
Ohio State or Notre Dame or those teams. But at the same time, you can't have football without a trumpet. You just can't. That'd
be a good title for a book.
You can't. You
about
can't
the
have
small town football program that the star quarterback was also the trumpeter.
Yes.
And so he missed assignments at halftime because he was out on the field.
Can't have football without a trumpet. You can't have it. I know. Those flute players know that you can't hear the flute. All right. I'm not all the way in the North Stadium being able to hear your flute sound. But it's like, I just love that you're there. I love that you have your own section. I love that you have the uniforms. It's the pageantry.
So let me give you a little scenario here. Again, this is just when people find out what the plan is for the band this year and their travel and non-travel, people will be triggered for about 10 minutes and they'll be like, is the football team going? Yeah. Okay, we're good. But right now the plan is not to go to Cincinnati. And I don't know what the road game is, but they don't travel as much as they used to. Moving forward, would it be a better return on investment for Nebraska athletics to make the student experience in New Memorial Stadium better, or that the band continues to have a prominent part in game day?
Band continues.
I would say band continues.
Band continues.
It's what differentiate between college and pro. You just have that unique sound in the college game, and you just can't lose that.
Bingo. Also, too, the fan experience for students in the student section, while not ideal, definitely not the worst ever. If you want to have a really good seat, if you're worried about your view, if you're worried about being with your friends, you definitely can take the steps in order to maximize your experience at the game. But if you're like me and, you tailgate a little bit longer and, you already have people in the stadium, you're still able to kind of squeeze your way into a quality seat. It's not, I know that some students want to be right behind the end zone, on top of the players and everything like that. I think that'd be great. But if it means keeping the band, like if it was an if and or, I would totally rather be shoulder to shoulder standing up on the bleachers than having no band at Memorial
Well, I
Stadium.
hope nobody ever says, man, you know what, during that COVID year, not having the marching band was pretty good because I love the music, man. Boy, the stuff they were recording in the music hall sounded great over the PA. I think that's what we should do. Then what would we do at halftime?
No, exactly.
Where would the Nebraska team run out? Would they just run onto the field? They wouldn't
They're
run
just
through
there.
the band. They would just run into empty space.
That would be I'm not it would I don't know if there is a last straw in college football when it comes to college football fans and being upset about things. But if it were to be a very regular thing for more and more teams and programs could get rid of bands to save money, they'd be pretty damn near close to the last straw.
Well, at least the Stanford band wasn't the last straw.
Yeah. Let me pose one more scenario to you. You gotta cut way back on the band,
Yeah.
or cut a sport.
God dang it,
Oh,
Gary.
man.
All right, Andy Kendi from KTV will join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, our next guest actually treated Memorial Stadium like Margaritaville on Saturday night. Got done with work, was off the clock, kicked back, and drank beer in Memorial Stadium. And he's drinking one right now. Andy Kendi joins us, kidding, from KTV. Good morning.
Good morning, boys. I was actually, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little, it was a little eye-opening to see the reaction to one little tweet.
I know.
Wait, did you get
crazy?
Did you get hate for it?
No.
A little bit on the brand I was drinking, but whatever.
It's awesome.
I mean, here's the thing: it was $11 for a Bud Light, $12 for the Ultra. What am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the $11. I'm down one coupon. I am going the cheap route.
Hey, AK, credit to you. Really, all the credit in the world for doing it off of the clock, because I've had a couple of opportunities where I've done it on the clock. So kudos to your to your patience and your.
Yeah. Well, I actually so. Where I bought the first one was underneath by the chain link fence underneath where the tunnel walk is, and they had very limited options. But when you go up to the concourse, they had a whole array of different brands, whatever. And so I will admit I had round 2, and that was a Busch Light. That was the same price, it was $11, and I don't know, it was enjoyable. And I know it wasn't the first time that they actually served alcohol in the stadium. They did it for the Garth Brooks concert, and I think they had it for volleyball day too. But for a football event, it was just kind of unique. It was just a kind of a surreal, different deal. And I don't know, to watch, the event as itself, in and of itself on Saturday, I thought was enjoyable. It really gave fans a sneak peek. I was, I don't know about you guys. I was a little surprised at the size of the crowd in terms of, I thought there might be more, but completely understandable with the price points that were out there. A family of 4, if you bring in, your spouse and 2 kids, that's going to run you $60 to get in the door to watch a practice. We're talking about practice here. Yeah. So, and that's before concessions. So I get it, but I thought the Saturday was very useful for, in terms of getting a little peek behind the curtain, because we haven't seen a whole lot this fall camp.
Hey, how's the transition to the fan base? And some are already there, some will never be there. But the transition that place, the old grandma on 10th and Vine that has brought us so many memories, is kind of morphing into a professional sports venue. Whether it be the offerings, the price, where you sit, how much it costs. How do you think that transition's going to go as we get closer to improvements being announced and so on and so forth?
Well, yeah, I think change is hard, and I think change is going to be really hard this fall. And I think the biggest change, above all, and you can talk alcohol all you want, I think the biggest change is the inability for fans to leave and come back, which is very unique to this for Nebraska in terms of, this is one of the few stadiums in the country that for years allowed you to leave the stadium and return. And now, once you're in, and you leave, you're done. So there's no running out at halftime to pick up your tailgate and then shut it down in the third quarter. Once you leave, you're gone. I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment for Husker fans, at least the ones I've talked to. But I think people don't realize, like, this is how it goes cross country, and most people who aren't from around here are shocked to learn that practice still continued up till 2024. So I just think it's the evolution of where it's headed, and with the upcoming improvements to the stadium, I think ultimately it will result in a positive fan experience. But there's going to be some rough patches, no question, and adjustment periods for fans in it. To go to a sporting event, so you got to kind of pre-plan your day and figure out ways to work around some of the new regulations, because I do think that's part of the game day experience for some, not all, but for some, in terms of watching and situating yourself, knowing that once you're in, you're in.
You've this is your 3 Matt Rule, and you've been to damn near every single press conference and game, and have asked him questions and have seen him and interacted with him over the last couple of years. Andy, do you think that he's changed at all from year 1 to year 3 in terms of how he communicates about the team, how he communicates about his players, how he communicates to the media at all? Or do you think he's kind of he's the same guy now as he was when he first got to Nebraska?
Well, I think he's the same guy, but I think he's very measured in terms of what he says. He knows exactly what he's going to say before he gets in there, And I do think what he allows himself to say is different. And I think he knows that this year's team is in much better position than year 1's team. And I think he's a guy, when we were in Vegas watching his side session, you got the sense that he just exuded confidence because he knows his guys are in better position. They're stronger, they're bigger, they're faster. they're deeper, and I think that may be the biggest facet in all this. They might not have a guy on the top 100 freak list or whatever, but they're going to be deep. This is the deepest offensive line I've seen in his years, and while they might not have the star power up front on the defensive line just yet, I do think they've got some big bodies and some guys ready to take the jump. So I think he knows and is confident because he's done it before at other places, and I think he sees some of the same traits in terms of building his program into year 3. Now, will that result in double-digit wins? Who knows? I mean, this Big Ten conference is a gauntlet. The schedule is going to be rough, even for a favorable schedule as Nebraska has. You still got to go out and win games, and most of these games are going to come down to the wire, as he's mentioned time and time again. But having watched what I've watched, having seen what I've seen, there is no reason why people shouldn't be bullish on this team.
So he's got a new thing, a social media thing that I imagine all of us in media will steal, that we'll do a walking with Gary and Matt or walking with Andy as he comes into the studio to get ready for the 620 sports. So he's doing walking with the coach. And he has always been somebody that I think connects with his players. You can tell that their relationship with him, I don't think is fake. I mean, there is a connection there. But it's almost like his last one yesterday, he has a mailbag, or he's very cognizant of questions that are asked about his program, because let's walk into the weight room.
Yeah.
And look, there's Parker.
Yeah.
There's Bell.
There's Tyson Terry.
Yeah. I think it's a brilliant idea because he's got the charisma that he can do that and get points across. What were your thoughts? This is now what we've done 3 of them?
Yeah.
We did one before the practice, one after the practice with Emmett, and then yesterday walking from the practice field. Oh, hey, but which was good for us because there's Tyson Terry.
Yeah.
We know that he recently had surgery. He's not going to probably play at all this year to rehab from that knee injury. But hey, look at guys that you're wondering about. They all of a sudden are in my video.
Look at Juju.
I thought it's brilliant. Not only does it give you an update on these guys, it shows them that they are like bought in, right? And they're working hard, or, and you could say, oh my goodness, of course they know that they're in there. Of course they know that they're working hard and whatever. But it is brilliant because how many Husker fans have actually seen the inside of the new weight room, right? Or how many recruits across the country have seen like, oh my God, look at this weight room. Look at this huge facility. And he's going, and you can see these players. There's a general love for their head coach, and 280,000 views in less than a day, in like 12 hours. I mean, that's pretty cool. Matt Rule, he understands. He is like a coach that really gets the media stuff, and not all coaches do it. We've seen guys who haven't gotten the media stuff, but I think he uses it to his advantage. And I think he's walked a fine line. I thought it was interesting when we were in Las Vegas, when he mentioned that they did this whole movie that they didn't release. I'm like, that would have been I know Husker fans would have really enjoyed to see how that, Chasing 3 or whatever last element or last episode of that full length movie would have ended the season, on film. And he just he kind of said that, some home movies are made just to view at home. And I thought that was an interesting deal. So he doesn't flood you with it, but he does just enough to keep you wanting more. And I think that's the key with Matt. And believe me, he is tuned in on what people say and what the narratives are on his team. He is locked in on that. And if he doesn't know, he'll hear about it. And so he's on top of it more than most coaches do.
Let's go to the football. Let's go to the football on the field. Game 1, Cincinnati. Are we getting to the point where if they lose this game, it's almost like, I don't want to call it a season ruiner, but I mean, it's kind of, isn't it inching up there a little bit where it's like, if they drop this one to begin the season with all the hope and confidence you have, it's like, man, it's going to be hard getting up in the morning for Akron.
Well, it will be a buzzkill, no question. And, but I don't know if it will destroy the season per se. I do think it's a huge game in terms of where they want to be and to live up to, if they are able to beat Cincinnati, if they beat them convincingly, that's one thing. But if they just get the W, I think that's going to set them up for a nice little run leading into Michigan. And, I think it can only, it can, let's see. You can't win. What do they say? That you can't win the tournament in the first round, but you can lose it. So I think that's kind of like what this game is. It can really lose part of the fan base, like, because you've heard the narratives, all off season, drinking the Kool-Aid. Here we go again, whatever. And now people are like, all right, I'm bought in. And you get to the opening game, if they fall flat, then people are going to throw their hands up and like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Right? I'm out. They've done it to me again, whatever. So that's why I think this game holds a little more importance, because it's a quality opponent. It's not a pushover. And we've seen openers in the past where it's just deflated this season. You don't have to go back very far to see that. I mean, even a couple years ago at Minnesota, that game was right there for the taking, and they lost. That was really deflating. And obviously the one in Dublin was just a crusher, in my opinion. And that really set that whole season sideways. But so if you can get this win, I think it really sets you up for success.
When's your pregame show start from Arrowhead on that day?
We're starting our actual pregame show starts at 7 to 8. It leads right into kickoff, which is going to present some logistical challenges for yours truly. But we're going to have pregame programming all day long, boys. I'm sure we'll be in the noon, the 4, the 5, the 6. It's going to be an adventure. I'm already. Oh, and by the way, can I plug one more thing?
Go ahead.
We've got Nebraska, Kentucky volleyball on that Sunday. So that's Sunday the 31st?
Yep.
At 11 a.m. ABC is airing that match, Kentucky, Nebraska volleyball. And to lead into it at 10:30, we're doing a half-hour volleyball, season preview special. We, Laura talked to Danny Busman Kelly one-on-one. So we're going to air that interview, and we're going to have Brian Rosen come in.
Nice.
And we're going to do something with UNO with Coach Buttermore as well. So we've got a lot going on, and obviously the volleyball is taking center stage, and along with football today with all the Supernova stuff. Don't forget about Love.
They have an
Omaha.
announcement today.
They have a huge announcement today, and so volleyball, and we're not even talking about Creighton or Nebraska or It's a busy week. Summer's over, boys. Summer is over.
Don't say that.
And my wife went back to school with a whole bunch of teachers who had to go back to their classrooms today. God bless them.
Oh.
And let's lock in for a fun little ride here.
I was unfortunately I was at a funeral yesterday, and there were West Side teachers there, and they're already back working. I mean, they start school on Thursday.
Yeah. Millard teachers went back today. At least my wife did, and they start up next week. So here we go.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding us. As always, thanks for the conversation. We'll see you later.
Gary, I want to say, hey, Rhino, the tribute you did to Rhino last week was awesome.
Oh,
and
thank
I know
you.
I'm a big Ryan Sandberg fan, and it was very touching because it hit me just as hard as it hit you. It's really tough to lose one of your childhood heroes and a guy that you grew up with, and losing Ryan Sandberg really hit home.
Yeah, definitely. You being a Chicagoland guy. Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Thanks, AK.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Andy Kendi. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get the crossover coming up next. Yeah, it's a big volleyball announcement day. The Supernovas.
Yeah, I guess they just officially announced what was announced yesterday.
Yes. So they're going to lead a new era as part of Major League Volleyball. And then Love B is making a major announcement today as well.
I love it when you do your professional reading voice.
Omaha Supernovas, the world's leading professional volleyball franchise. They're excited to announce their inclusion in the unification of the Pro Volleyball Federation of Major League Volleyball, a move to create a single united league poised to elevate professional women's volleyball in the United States. The unified league will be consolidated under the MLV branding.
That reading was brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Michelob Ultra, the #1 beer of Memorial Stadium. Get your overpriced beer at your next Husker game.
Thanks, King Joey.
Thank you. I'll see you on
For
Thursday.
Matt, I'm Gary. Crossover is coming next. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6.